Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Wednesday night movie live stream. And I've just had a notification that we've gone live, even though we're live. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, welcome back to another Wednesday night movie live stream with me, Pete Playtendoguy, and as always, I'm joined by Andy from Forgotten World Movies.
Hi everyone.
And Mike from Cinema Axeman.
Hello.
And tonight we're joined by a very special guest. We're joined by Alan Scouser. So thanks for joining, Alan.
Hi everybody, thanks for having me, Peace.
So how's everybody been doing? Everybody been having a nice week?
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, smashing.
All right,
yeah.
That's good to hear. And as always, before we get into the comments, my only question of the night is, what are some of the films that you've watched over the past week? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I went to the cinema on Monday, and it was one of those screenings where you don't know what film it is, but you just buy the ticket, and it's an advanced showing, and it was a horror film called Hatching. It's like a Finnish film, and it was really weird to say the least. It started off really, really weird. Loads of people got up and left, I think, because it just wasn't for them.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Some really, really creepy scenes, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of Salem's Lot. Obviously, with the window scene. I'm sure you are all familiar with that. But yeah, it was really creepy in parts, and I kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
Oh, sounds good. Never even heard of it. Was it a new film coming to cinemas?
Yeah. I don't think it's out yet, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it for what it was. It's a bit weird, but I don't think it's one of those movies that's going to be for everyone. But I had fun with it, to say the least.
Oh, that sounds good. And at least it got a cinema release as well.
Yeah.
Did you go to the £3 cinema day?
I didn't know, because I've got a limitless pass, so it's just a standard price for me anyway. But it was good that they did that anyway.
Yep, I see that Cineworld, is it Cineworld's gone into administration in America, so it seems like they may go here as well, which is a shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mike, what were some of the films that you last watched?
Yeah, there haven't been that many this week. Probably the most noteworthy one I watched Sleepaway Camp 4: The Survivor.
There's a fourth one.
There is, yeah. And I'm just going to say this now, guys. Do not watch this movie, or at least do not pay for it. If you can watch it for free on YouTube, and that is the way to watch it. I just wanted to watch it out of curiosity, but it was really, really bad.
Oh God.
Oh wow. I knew there was like 3 of them because I've seen like 2 and 3 in HMV, but you can never find the first one, which is a shame.
Yeah, I think the 4th one, I think when they were filming it, I think they ran out of money or something, so they just cancelled the production, and I think they'd only shot about 30 minutes worth of footage, so they just kind of scrapped it, and then they eventually released it, but they only used about 10 minutes of that footage, and the rest of the movie is just clips from like the previous movies. It's just like a clip show. It's just so lazy.
Wow.
But
it sounds like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, because don't that have a lot of flashbacks to the original?
Yeah, it's very similar, but even the original footage in it is just so bad. Like, just the way it's shot and the acting and everything is just awful. So wow. if you want to watch it, just watch it on YouTube for free.
I think I might skip that one.
Yeah.
And what about you, Alan? What have you been watching over the past?
Oh yeah,
few days?
watched the good one. Watched the good one last night called Cottage Country. I've done a review of it. I just put my review up today. It's basically a kind of a comedy horror movie, and it's about these 2 people, this young couple and that, and they go to this cottage in the wilderness and that, because the family cottage and that. And his brother comes along, and he's going to propose to his girlfriend, like, once they get out there. But it's all in the review anyway. But it's very, very good in that, because once his brother turns up, all hell breaks loose and that. Yeah. But if you watch my review, what I put on today, you'll get a good idea of what it's about. I've got a couple of movies here as well I've watched recently. Watched that one, The Maid, which I wasn't too keen on. It's a foreign movie, and this one wasn't too good. American Poltergeist Part 6. Not a very good one. And This one wasn't too bad. If you like your creature feature movies, movie called Ants from 1977. Yeah. Plus, I've also watched a couple on Amazon Prime, which were instantly forgettable. So, yeah, but that's about it, really. Yeah. I'm still waiting for me. I've been watching the Quatermass movies as well. I've watched the first two. I'm waiting for part 3 to come now. So once that comes, I'll do a full Quatermass review on that. Yeah, but that's all really. Yeah.
No, that sounds good. Did you watch your second sight versions of the 2 Hammer films?
Not yet, Peace. So I'm going to watch them over the weekend. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm made up getting them.
Very nice
really
sets.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
nice
fantastic. Sets. Yeah, I'll watch them over the weekend. Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah.
As for me, I watched a decent selection of films. I watched that Sylvester Stallone's Samaritan. It wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it. It was all right for an Amazon Prime free film.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Stallone, it wouldn't be worth watching. But he does pretty well for a bloke in his 70s, beating up all these guys.
Yeah.
I watched Broken Arrow for the first time with John Travolta and Christian Slater. Really good film. I enjoyed that. I think that's from the same director as Face Off.
Yeah, John Woo. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I can't remember what else I watched. I watched the French Connection as well. That was great. Really enjoyed that.
Right.
And then I watched the A24 film Men yesterday, and that was an interesting watch to say the least, especially the final 10 minutes. I won't be looking at Rory Kinnear the same way again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good film. I wasn't expecting much after the trailer, but yeah, it surprised me. Pretty good.
Is it a bit of a slow piece? Is that a bit of a slow burn of that Men? Really slow or?
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow burner. It's more story driven, and then it starts to change about 45, 50 minutes in.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, if you can find it cheap, it's definitely worth a go. It's definitely not for everyone, but you never know. You may like it.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot anyway. See what it's like.
Yeah, you can always stick on eBay if you don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah. Try and get me money back.
Yeah. Oh wow. Anyway, as you haven't been on for the channel for a little while, Alan, do you want to promote your channel to everybody watching at home?
Yeah.
Do you want to promote it to everybody watching at home who may have not have heard your channel?
My YouTube channel. Yeah, all right then. Yeah, okay, yeah. So basically, I'm Alan Scouser, and what I do on my YouTube channel, I review horror movies mostly and horror books, but I also throw in a few old TV shows as well because I love the 70s, all the old 70s shows and that. So I do those. I do some pickups as well. Again, mostly horror Blu-rays and DVDs and that. And it's primarily a horror channel, and I actually write stories myself, horror stories and that. True paranormal and that. So so that's basically it, really. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the plug, piece.
Yeah. No worries. If you like what you hear, Alan's link is in the description down below. So is Andy and Mike. So give them all a sub. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Alan will be going live on his channel at 7:30. It'll be a Hammer Horror special, won't it?
That's right, yeah, Hammer Horror special. But having said that, we can discuss other things as well, but it will mostly be about Hammer films and that, because that's my number one love, the Hammer movies. Yeah. Cheers.
Sounds good. Will you be doing any more top 10 most boring lists from like other genres instead of horror?
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm just in the throes now of putting together a top 20 list movies outside the horror genre, which have bored me. And I can think of one. There's always one that springs to mind right away. I don't know if you know what I'm going to say. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Wow.
Yeah, it always springs to mind when I think of boring movies outside the horror genre. That always shoots right up into the forefront of my mind. So you can bet your bottom dollar that'll be on the list. Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't too. I tell you what, I wasn't too keen on the Elephant Man. Couldn't get into that at all.
Okay.
No. Oh, and the other one, Eraserhead, wasn't too keen on that. David Lynch. Yeah. But so I expect that one soon anyway.
Oh, that'll be a very great video to watch when it lands. Look forward to watching it.
Cheers.
Right. Anyway, we've got some comments, so let's dive straight into them. Right. Comments have gone weird. First up is No, it isn't StreamYard. We have Norin Rad89 here, and he says, "What up, everyone? How's it going? Thanks for joining."
Hey, Nord.
Right, we've got Edward here, Edward Coppock, saying, "Evening, everyone. Hope you're well, and I hope you're feeling better, Pete." Yeah, I'm feeling much better now. Thanks, Edward. I hope you're doing well, mate. He says, "Who's excited for Disney Plus Day tomorrow, and who's excited for Pinocchio?" Yes, it's Disney Plus Day tomorrow. Loads of stuff going on. We're going to see Thor: Love and Blunder, Pinocchio, another episode of She-Hulk, and some various other McGubbins joining Disney Plus. I'll give Thor a watch. I'm not that bothered about Pinocchio, though I am quite intrigued about the donkey scene and see if that gets put in, but not a big rush, to be fair. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I might check out Pinocchio if that's coming out this week, because I really do like the animated one. Like you said, Pete, that donkey scene is the stuff of nightmares, isn't it? But yeah, no. Other than that, you know, I went to see Thor at the cinema. I'll probably just end up getting that on Blu-ray at some point. I'm not a big fan of streaming, but if it's the only way, it's the only way. But yeah, I'll probably just check out Pinocchio this weekend, maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll get a physical release. It seemed odd if it didn't, but then again, Lady and the Tramp never did it?
No.
And that was a live-action remake, which is a shame.
I hope Prey gets a physical, but who knows?
Yeah, same here. That was definitely one of the best things Disney Plus has put out in a long while. What about you, Mike? Is there anything on Disney Plus Day you're excited for?
Not really, no. I didn't even know it was Disney Plus Day tomorrow, to be honest. Yeah, I'll probably check out Pinocchio at some point, but other than that, I don't really tend to go on Disney Plus that much these days. I think the last thing I watched was Prey, and then before that it was Obi-Wan. But other than that, I just don't really find myself going on it all that much.
Yeah. Every time I turn it on, I always see She-Hulk, and I'm just like, yep, turn that off. Yeah, I did watch a bit of it. Yeah, I'm not keen on it. But we have got the new Star Wars one coming out very soon, Andor. That does look very good, and it's going to be a 3-episode premiere, so at least to get a decent amount of episodes to watch when it turns on. I think that comes later in the month, end of September, I think. Awesome. Anyway, what about you, Alan? Anything on Disney Plus Day that interests you?
Well, same as Mike, really. I didn't even know there was a what's the name tomorrow, Disney Day, and I don't think I've watched a Disney movie for years. You know, so no, I don't watch it anyway. So no, I won't be watching it.
No. I think we're getting something called D21. It's like where they announce all sort of Disney projects, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's coming very soon as well, so that'll be interesting to see what's announced.
Right.
Apparently, we will get some more Marvel films, so that'll be cool.
Right.
We've got Rogue Reviews here saying, "Evening, had an unusually busy day at work." Wow. Well, hopefully you can have a nice, relaxing evening tonight, Rogue. We have DVD and Film Bloke here saying hi. Hey, mate. Hope you're doing well. We've got Ash here from Popcorn and Horror saying, "Evening, fellas." Evening, Ash.
Ash.
Norin says, "Recently found binging found footage horror, preparing for another Rankin video."
Awesome.
That sounds good. What are some of your favourite found footage films, Andy?
I kind of do like the Blair Witch. I know it's kickstarted this whole sort of, you know, this found footage, you know, a whole treasure trove of it that just doesn't live up to filmmaking, in my opinion. But I actually kind of do like Blair Witch, as much as, you know, the marketing is like the main trope of that movie because it was just so good. But a lot of, you know, the film itself, people finding out later on that it wasn't real and all that it still works for me though. I still enjoy it. There's the ending I find just absolutely terrifying. The way that movie ends without spoiling it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that for me is probably one of the better ones. I like Paranormal Activity too. The first one. I've only seen the first one, but I thought that was a solid movie as well.
Oh, that's good. I still need to see that one. I've only seen one of the later ones, and that wasn't the best. What about you, Mike? What are some of your favourite found footage films?
My favourite's probably Wreck, the Spanish one. But I watched one recently, a South Korean movie called, I think it was called Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum, and that was actually quite a creepy movie. It took a while to get going, but once it got going, it was quite creepy. There was one scene in particular where I forgot to breathe. I was just like holding my breath, and I didn't even realize I was doing it because it was just really intense. So that one was pretty good.
Oh, that sounds great. And what about you, Alan?
Well, I'm not really a big fan of found footage, but if I was pushed to pick one, I'd say Creep. And now I know there's two. There's the one where the girl's trapped in the railway station. That's a British one. But the one I'm referring to is the American one, where this guy, he goes to film this fella. He's dying of cancer. I think I've spoke about it before. He's dying of cancer, and he wants this fella to video him his last couple of days and that, because he wants to make a film for his son. But he's a bit of an oddball and that, and he does all sorts of things and that, and basically in that. Yeah, so that's, as I say, if it was to push to name one found footage, that was pretty good. But other than that, I'm not really a huge fan of found footage. You've got to be very, very good, for me to sustain the interest, yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely get that. They can come off, shall I say, a bit gimmicky sometimes, some of the films. But there are some good ones out there. I do have to agree with Mike. Wreck is a great film.
I haven't seen that one piece. You haven't seen it?
Yeah,
I'll check that one out.
It's a very good one. It feels very believable, like the opening does.
Yeah, and that one Mike mentioned, was it the Asylum, Gonjik Asylum? I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, Gonjiam. It's like Gonjiam and then : Haunted Asylum. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Check that one out as well. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool. Another one I can think of, that was a superhero film, is Chronicle. That's a good found footage film, but again, not horror.
Yeah.
We've got DCR 80 Gaming here saying, evening all. Evening, mate. Thanks for joining. James here saying, good evening, guys. Great to see you all back. Great to have Alan with you all. Also, wash hands, wash hands. Thanks for joining, James. Yep, my hands are all clean. I've got some sanitizer over there. We've got Ash here saying, currently halfway through watching a British film called Nina Forever. Any of you guys seen it?
No.
I've not heard of it, I don't think.
No, I've not heard of it either.
The name rings a bell. I think, let me check it. It's a horror comedy, it says here. Yeah, I've seen the posters about for it, but I've never seen it. Yeah, it looks very interesting, shall we say. But that's cool. I hope you're enjoying it, Ash. Next up is The View with Drew, and he says, hey, what's up? Hey, Drew. Thanks for joining the stream. We have David Even Film Bloke says, I saw this bizarre trauma film called Actium Maximus, War of the Alien Dinosaurs. I'm sold by the title alone. It's the first film I couldn't rate on Letterboxd because I had no idea what the hell I was watching. This does sound it, I must admit. The best way to describe it is if you described a movie in into a rubbish computer and it showed a classic Doctor Who and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but God, it was funny. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. That sounds fun just by the title alone. We've got James here again saying, after watching Alan's reviews, I watched Spider Baby today. I enjoyed it, but it was weird and far out, but good vibes.
Lon Chaney Jr. Yeah, it's a good movie, that from the 60s. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, it's in black and white, like. Yeah.
Now I don't know nothing about it, but I'm seeing the word spider and I'm arachnophobic, and that just puts me off straight away.
Yeah, it's much more than that. Yeah.
Right.
Rather dysfunctional family, should we say? Yeah, headed by Lon Chaney Jr., the patriarch. Yeah, good movie. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Awesome. Have you seen it, Andy?
No, I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
No. What about you, Mike?
No, I've not seen it either. It was always one of those Arrow titles. I always saw it on the shelf, but I think, like you, Pete, I just assumed it was a movie about spiders. But I think like Alan says, there's more to it than
much
that.
more. Yeah, much more going on. Yeah.
Oh, I have to keep an eye out for it. Rogue Review says, I've watched hardly anything, been too busy, pack of boxes, but I did watch Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 for the first time. Awesome. I've only ever seen Kill Bill Volume 2. Yeah, I'm that person. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Isn't there like rumors they're supposed to be doing a Volume 3? I know they're talking about it, so that'd be quite cool. But what's your opinions on the Kill Bill 1 and 2, Andy?
I love them. I love those, the Kill Bill 1 and 2. I always watch them both back to back. I never watch one without the other, because it just feels like an incomplete story if you do that. But yeah, I think they're two great movies. Probably prefer the first one just a little bit more, but the second one's still great.
Awesome. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I enjoy them. They're not my favorite Tarantino movies, but I still enjoy them nonetheless.
And what about you, Alan? Have you seen them?
I've never seen them right through. I've only seen trailers of them. Yeah, so yeah, never seen them.
Oh, no worries. We've got Dr. Impossible, The Counterpunch, 1984 here, saying evening. Evening, Doctor. Thanks for joining. DVD from Film Bloke says, I didn't even know American Poltergeist 1 to 5 existed. Rogue says, I've read that Cineworld is nearly £1 billion worth of debt and there's not making the profits at the moment. Wow. That is an incredible amount of money, and it is a shame to see it, but unfortunately, with the way the world is with streaming and with how coming out of COVID, it's not a surprise. But hopefully something can be done to save some stores and some jobs in both countries. We have the Movie Cheer podcast here, AP. Thanks for joining, AP. And he says, hey, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Thanks for joining the stream, mate.
AP.
DVD Film Bloke says, if every company who owned the rights to all the Hammer films made an agreement and put out a massive box set, would you buy it? I'm going to ask Alan this one first. I think I know the answer.
Well, seeing as I've got most of the Hammer movies, I think I'll pass on that one. Yeah, I've got most of them. Yeah, but I must say, while we're on the subject of Hammer, you know, some of the Christopher Lee Dracula movies, like Taste of Blood of Dracula and Dracula's Risen from the Grave, they're just bare bones releases. Now, I'd like to see them re-released with all special features on and that, you know. So if Screen Factory released them in special editions, I think I'd buy them, because I've done that with the Scars of Dracula. I bought
I see that in a recent video.
Yeah, I love all the special features. I love all the anecdotes in that. So, but I wouldn't buy a big, huge box set with every single Hammer movie in. I'd only buy them individually if I thought I was getting some extra out of them. Yeah, so.
So you got that one from Screen Factory. Did you have to import it? And
Screen Factory, I got that on Amazon, UK, because sometimes they have them on Amazon, and then of course they have them on eBay as well, all different prices. But I got mine from Amazon, yeah. So if you keep checking Amazon, you'll get some. It might pop up every now and then, and that, and also they got the slipcover, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's the one with Dennis Waterman, isn't it? And
it is, yeah.
Patrick
Dennis
Troughton.
Yeah, Jenny Hanley, Patrick Troughton of Doctor Who fame. It's a cracking movie. That, as I said in the video, I know it gets a lot of stick for the cheesy rubber bats and that, but then you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you? Because you sort of like weigh the movie up. In whole, I enjoyed it. I think it's a good. And also, in regards to Christopher Lee, he has much more to do in this movie. He talks a lot more. You see a lot more of him, But I love Scars of Dracula. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Them sort of Hammer horror films have a old school charm to them, even if they are made on a shoestring budget.
Exactly, and they evoke a lot of memories as well. Like when you were young and that, we used to stay up late watching them. On the telly, like, on a Monday or Friday night, Don't bring the memories back. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy? Would you buy a Hammer horror box set?
Yeah, probably. I'm ashamed to admit this. I've only ever seen one Hammer film, and it's the first Christopher Lee Dracula. That's the only one I've seen.
Fantastic movie.
I've got a whole, it's a whole minefield for me to go into. So I would absolutely love to, because that's something I need to definitely correct. Watch more Hammer films.
Yeah,
I've got one from America, one box set from America. It's got like 20 films in, but I've not watched any of them yet.
Oh, right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I know there was a TV series as well, Hammer House of Horrors or something, wasn't it?
Fantastic one, yeah. But the one after that, the Hammer House of Mystery and Suspense, was awful. It was absolutely awful, because it was mostly like, there was a lot of talk in them, a lot of dialogue in that. There was only one real good one I liked in that, and that was The Possessed with Carol Lynley in. That was a good one. But apart from that, the stories were awful. But the first series was fantastic. Really was, yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Mike? Would you go for a Hammer box set?
Yeah, I probably would. I guess it would all just depend on how much it is, because I imagine it would be very, very pricey. But yeah, I've not seen all the Hammer movies, but the ones I have seen, I do really enjoy. They have like a great atmospheric kind of tone to them, and I really love horror movies that are just full of atmosphere.
Yeah,
and the Hammer movies are really good for that. So yeah, I probably would pick the box set up.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah, I'd love to pick one up. It depends on the price, of course. It'd probably be something ridiculous like 200 quid, but if I could get it done, that'd be good. We've got Andy Like Stuff here saying, hey guys, what's your favourite decade for movies? Well, thanks for joining, Andy. Hope you're doing well, mate. So what's your favourite decade for movies, Alan?
Favorite decade for movies in terms of horror would have to be the 70s. So many good movies came out in the 70s, and that, apart from Hammer, other great movies came out in the 70s, like The Omen, movies like that. So yeah, if it was, I like movies from every decade, but if it was pushed, I'd have to say the 70s. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What decade would you say is your least favourite?
My least favourite decade. Well, if you'd exclude the 1920s with the silent movies, because he made a couple of horror movies then, didn't he? Where there was silence, yeah. So my least favourite decade. I don't know really. No, I like movies from every decade and that really, but as I say, the 70s would be number one. Yeah.
Good decade.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Oh, for me, mine's the 80s.
Yeah.
I love everything about that decade, because I was born in 1990. A lot of the stuff I watched growing up was from the 80s. So that was really like my gateway into it. I just think it was the perfect platform for creativity, the 80s, because you had so many like batshit crazy movies, so many great horror movies as well. Even like, I really like the coming of age movies as well. I thought John Hughes was just top of his game in that decade with movies he was putting out. Just absolutely insane amount of quality from that decade. Too much to talk about. But yeah, just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely so. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm the same as Andy. It's the 80s for me. I think most of my favorite movies came from that decade, and yeah, there's just so many great movies.
Would you guys say that there's a decade that you like the least?
I might say this might be quite controversial, but I'll probably say like the last decade, like the 2010s. Like
I was actually thinking of that, because it's probably the least creative.
Yeah, it's just I mean, there's been good movies from that decade, but not as many that I go back to as much as like the other decades.
Yeah, definitely. So, what about you, Andy?
Yeah, I would probably say so. It's because I think as time's gone on, we get more and more movies each year now, and there's so many from the last decade that I don't really find myself going back to them as much as like movies from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. Like Alan was saying, the 70s, I mean, for horror movies had some of the best, in my opinion. The ones that really scare me are probably the ones from the 70s likes of like The Exorcist and Dawn of the Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're like absolutely phenomenal. Argento's Suspiria, that terrified. The end of that movie terrifies me.
Oh yeah.
You know, 70s horror movies, I think, are probably like the best. I think, in my opinion, some of the creepiest ones.
Yeah,
definitely.
I definitely agree there. For me, favorite decade in movies got to be 80s, as you said. Most creative, always something new. So many films that stand the test of time. You watch them now and they're just as fresh as what they were years ago. Least favorite decade is probably the 2010s because of its over reliance on big franchises and not creating so many individual new films that are fresh. But there are some great films of the last decade, don't get me wrong, but not as much as previous decades. Movie studios, shall we say, are getting a little bit like lazy. Let's just bring out another Fast and Furious or another Marvel film.
Yeah. I think as well with the 80s as well, that decade remade a lot of movies from like the 50s and 60s, and it put quality into the remakes. You just don't get that nowadays. If a remake comes out, it's usually trash. But the 80s put heart and soul into their remakes when they did it.
Yeah, definitely so. But like now, it's mostly just focused on like, well, money. To be fair, what can bring in the biggest box office returns?
Yeah.
Which big actor can we get, and what big name franchise can we get? It's less on creating new original ideas, more just like trying to get big returns.
Yeah.
Right. We've got Noran here saying, "Men, I thoroughly enjoyed very haunting visuals and amazing score." I do agree there. The score was fantastic in that film. And it was also nice to see like a sort of psychological horror film set in the English countryside as well. We have Brian Drums here saying, "Hey. Hey, Brian, hope you're doing well." Comments have gone weird. Right. Andy Like Stuff says, "Three Scousers, hope you're all Everton fans."
I won't say anything.
This is going over my head. I don't even know where to point to Everton on the map.
I'll say I am. I'm an Everton fan.
I don't know nothing about football, so it all goes over my head. Right, Dr. Impossible says, "Alan, did you see the great Hammer film that barely anyone's seen called Straight On Till Morning?"
I think I have saw that. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that one. I think it was made in around about 1972. I think Rita Tushingham was in it. I'm sure she was in it. Yeah, it wasn't one of my favourites, that one. Very, very slow. But yeah, I have seen it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one, to be fair.
Yeah, and it's not much piece. It's not a very good one.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of them because they always repeat them on TV, but that one doesn't ring a bell.
I tell you, around about that era, a good Hammer movie starring Peter Cushing, Fear and the Night. That's a fantastic one. That where he's a school teacher. That's great. That one. Yeah. He's like a red herring. No, you think he's going to be the villain, but it's somebody else. Ralph Bates is in it as well. Yeah, that's a good one. That Fear and the Night. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I always had a soft spot for Christopher Lee and Rasputin, the Mad Monk. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good one. That. Yeah.
Andy Like Stuff says, "Eraserhead is absolutely insane, awesome film." Yeah, it's certainly something indeed, especially when you're about 7 years old and your dad thinks it's a Laurel and Hardy film.
It's like a fever dream, that movie.
Yeah,
it's an experience, definitely.
Yeah, I see the Criterion release has gone down in price, and I was like, I don't know.
I don't think it's for everyone. It's definitely not.
That's a Marmite, isn't it?
Yeah,
very acquired taste film.
Yeah.
We've got DVD and Film Bloke saying 2001: A Space Odyssey, Elephant Man, and Eraserhead are great, but I can respect your opinion, Alan. I mean, everyone would blacklist me since I can't stand The Dark Knight. To be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of that film either. DVD from Film Bloke. I don't think it was ever the best of the trilogy, but we have talked about that before on the stream. But yeah, we all like different things, and that's what all makes us different, and that's what makes these streams even more interesting, because we all have our own different opinions. We've got Coral here saying, good evening all. We'll switch over to the laptop to spam you to death with my nonsense. Alan is the Hammer horror guy, right?
Never got to meet Christopher Lee, though. I would have loved to have met Christopher Lee. Yeah, but yeah, never got the chance.
I can imagine he's got some incredible stories to tell from his time from working on Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Hammer films, James Bond. He's been about.
Yeah.
But yeah, great to see you here, Carl. Hope you're doing well, mate. The Viewer Drew says, out of the 3 actors who've played Spider-Man, how would you rank them? For me, they're all great, but my ranking would be Tom Holland at first, Tobey Maguire second, and Andrew Garfield at third. Right, what do you think, Andy?
Probably Toby first for me, then Tom, then Andrew.
Yeah.
That's just probably like the order I like their movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of get that. Mike?
Yeah, Tobey Maguire is probably first. I think it's just because I have like nostalgia for that original trilogy. The other two, I just don't really feel that strongly about them. I'd probably say Tom Holland second because I think he probably feels the most suited to Peter Parker, like the right age and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then Andrew Garfield last. But I still like Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker.
Yeah. And what about you, Alan?
Well, I quite like Tobey Maguire. Yeah. But the other two actors, their movies, they haven't really watched for quite some time. But when you think of Spider-Man, you automatically think of Tobey Maguire. So yeah, Tobey for me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You still haven't seen No Way Home, is that right?
I haven't got round to it yet. No. I've got quite a few movies there. Well, built up. I've got to get through and that. So I'm getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries. For me, I would say Tobey Maguire's got to be number one. I grew up watching the films. Next one's quite hard. I probably will say Tom Holland because of the films, and I do think he has improved greatly over the 3 films. But Andrew Garfield at third, but he's still very good, and he has improved definitely over the years, shall we say. Andy says, I'm so old, I RE3. I'm completely confused there. What is that? Resident Evil 3? Andy says, I'm so old. I remember when you thought of Disney, it was for kids, and my parents would never watch it unless they had to. Always loved buying a Disney VHS, putting it in, getting the Disney logo up, and then you get advertisement for all the films. That's where I found a Goofy movie, and fantastic fun that is.
The Goofy movie's great. I love that film.
Yeah, I watched it a few months ago on Disney Plus, and it's still a lot of fun.
Very short as well.
Yeah, it's only about, I think it's 70 minutes long, isn't it? About 79 minutes. Yeah. Very short. We've got Josh here from Classic Review saying, hey guys, how are we all doing? Not doing too bad. Thanks for joining, Josh. He's rewatching Thor Love and Thunder, and it's hurting his soul. Well, I've not heard the greatest things. I've seen some dodgy CGI. It's on Disney Plus tomorrow, so I'll probably give it a go. I'm not going expecting much, but then again, I might end up enjoying it, like Jurassic World Dominion. Weren't expecting much with that, and honestly, really enjoyed that. So
Peace. When we're on the subject of the Thor movies, I've never actually seen any of them. But can I just ask you a question? Because I used to read those comics when I was little. Did he, in the movie, does he still bang the cane on the ground and turn into Thor, or does he turn into another way? Because he used to do that in the comics. He'd bang the cane on the ground and he'd become Thor. Does he do that in the movies or not? No.
I don't think so.
No, he doesn't. No. No, we used to do it in the
I think
comics.
I've
Like,
never seen him with a cane in the film. It's always been
not
his
in the
hammer.
film, in the comics. Yeah. I've never seen any of the Thor movies, but I'm just wondering, like, you know, because in the comics it was named Don Blake. I think it was Don Blake in the comics. And when he turned into Thor, he'd have this like walking cane, and he'd just bang it on the floor, and he'd become Thor. So this must be another different thing with the movies, mustn't it? Yeah. I was just wondering, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one before about him being like
The
a
old
different
Marvel
person.
comics. In the comics, you know, the old Marvel
Yeah.
comics.
Oh, sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen many of the Marvel films, like the MCU ones with like Iron Man and Captain America?
No. Only the Spider-Man ones. Yeah.
We've got Edward here saying, "What is the ultimate movie snack and why?" What do you think, Andy?
I don't know. I quite like. For some reason, I'd probably have to say popcorn because I think sometimes even when you don't feel like eating it, you can't stop. I don't know why it is. You just feel very sort of like addicted to it, even though you don't. Even though you're like, oh, I'm full or I don't want it, you still find yourself coming back.
Awesome. Yeah. When I was a kid, I never used to like popcorn. I used to try it and I was like, don't like it. Yeah. I was always a funny child with popcorn, but I don't mind it now.
What about candy floss? I know it's not sort of like in the cinema, it's more fairground, isn't it?
Like never liked candy floss. Never liked it.
No, like eating cotton wool. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on
that. Yeah, I was never a big fan myself. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the cinema, probably popcorn as well. I don't really tend to buy it myself, but if I'm with someone and they've got popcorn, I will probably just have a bit of it. But yeah, just popcorn.
No, sounds good. Alan?
Well, I'd rather have a chocolate bar personally, but when you think of the traditional cinema, you know what, edible, you think of popcorn, don't you? So, but I'd rather have a chocolate bar. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
What would be your chocolate bar of choice?
Oh, Death Flake, Cadbury's Flake. Yeah, I used to love Twirl, but they're going a little bit off now. They seem to have changed the recipe. Yeah, they're not as nice as they used to be, but Cadbury's Flake, definitely. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. What would be your chocolate bar of choice, Andy?
I was growing up. I was a big fan of Crunchies, and then I sort of moved over to Whisper. I love a good Whisper.
Yeah, very nice. Mike, what would be your chocolate bar of choice?
I quite like Twixes, Kinder Bueno.
Very nice.
Yeah, all sorts.
Yep. My chocolate bar of choice would probably be the Lindell chocolate bars. Get me being posh with the Lindell chocolate. As for ultimate movie snack, wow, I'm not going to say popcorn. I'm going to say a tube of Pringles.
Yep, good choice.
You can easily eat a whole tube without realizing it, and also just like sneakily put one in a shopping bag as you go into the cinema.
Tell me about it.
Oh. Oh. I remember one time going to the cinema and somebody actually bought a bag of fish and chips with them, sitting there eating fish and chips, and all I could smell was fish and chips.
Oh.
No, definitely not. Right, we got Dr. Impossible here saying, "No more bloody Marvel before I turn into anti-Marvel man and blast Disney and Warner's into the internal stratosphere." Yeah, it's certainly getting a bit of overkill with the Marvel stuff. It definitely felt more special when it was only 1 or 2 movies a year. It'd be nice if they go back to that. The way they're going, it feels like they're doing a phase a year. We've got Brett here. Watch your P, Andy, Alan, and Mike. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining the stream, Brett. Hope you're doing well, mate. We've got Sean here from Media Collector Madness saying, "Hi guys, hope you're all well and good." Hey Sean, hope you're keeping well. Josh here says, "Have you heard about the reviews for Don't Worry Darling and other festival films? It's been slated, which is quite funny considering Wild said about the film. Yeah, I remember you were saying about that. There seemed to be more drama behind the scenes with that film than the actual film. It does look good. I know the reviews haven't been positive, but I definitely do want to go and see it, or at least watch it on streaming when it comes out. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I think I'm sort of more intrigued about the cast than anything. I think Florence Pugh's great. Chris Pine's great, and did Olivia Wilde did she do Booksmart a couple of years ago?
Yeah, she did.
Because I really enjoyed that film. I thought that film was great. So I think this is what going to be our next film. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I hope it's good. I hope it,
The trailers do give off a certain style to it that we haven't seen in a film in a while, and it does look cool. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, when I first saw the trailer, I was really intrigued by it, and I do want to go see it. And but I think, like Andy, I want to see it mainly for the cast. I'm a big fan of Florence Pugh. I think she's an amazing actress, and she'll probably be the best part about the movie. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. She's the main reason to watch it. I'm pretty certain Gemma Chan's in it as well. I think she's great as well. Harry Styles is in it, which I'm a bit about. He was all right in Dunkirk, I suppose. So I'll see what it's like. What about you, Alan? Have you heard of the?
I've never heard of it. Peace. No, it's news to me. Never heard. Don't know anything about it at all, so I can't comment.
Yeah, I think it's like a psychological thriller, isn't it? From what I'm gathering from the trailers.
Peace. Yeah.
It kind of looks a little bit like a cult movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
right there.
With its cast.
Yeah, the trailers don't really give out a lot to what the film is about, and that kind of is a good thing.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Coral here saying Spider Baby is a lot of fun, well worth having in your collection if you dig horror and cult movies. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a very young Sid Haig in that. You know Sid Haig.
Yeah,
he's in that. Yeah.
Oh, sounds great to me.
Haig,
Devil's Rejects. And...
That's the one. Yeah, Sid Haig. Yeah.
Oh, sounds good. Josh says, I haven't watched a lot recently either, but now I'm a Patreon on Letterboxd. I'm starting to watch more. Awesome, mate. It's great to hear. Just got a few. Okay. Cora says, yes, sex trolls. Yeah, we get them too. Dr. Impossible says, seeing you're getting on like me, Alan, did you see Edith Evans and Eric Portman in the haunting Brian Forbes film, The Whisperers?
Nope, never seen it, mate. Never seen it.
Never heard of it. What about you guys?
No, I'm too young for that anyway, so. You're as old as you feel.
I've not heard of The Whisperers.
No.
Road Review says Kill Bill was originally meant to be a 14-hour film, but the studio forced
1 4-hour film.
1 4-hour film.
Yeah.
1 4-hour film, but the studio forced Tarantino to divide it into two as a general audience won't watch a 4-hour film. Oh, right. That does make sense.
Yeah. There is a cut of it that exists where it's both parts have been edited to one movie.
Yeah, I think you can buy that, can't you? Isn't it like
so.
a copy you can find online? That'd be cool. We've got Jules here saying good evening, everyone, especially Mr. Poldark. Evening, Jules. Hope you're doing well. We've got Jason, the old millennial, here saying, hey guys, how's it going? Caught Elvis the other day and was not a fan. Felt like there was too many Tom Parker scenes and never felt like I knew who Elvis was. Thanks for joining, Jason. Yeah, I do agree with you there that Tom Parker kind of took control of the film, and it did kind of feel like it was from his perspective. It wasn't until he went away and we had more time with Elvis in the second hour of the film I felt it worked well. But what about you, Andy? What did you think of the film?
I enjoyed the film. I thought the first 20 minutes were very, very loose, and then it tightened up as it went along. But it felt like the movie was like saying, we've got Tom Hanks in our movie, we need to make him the focus because he's Tom Hanks. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest, he's a much bigger name than is it Aston Butler who's playing Elvis.
Yeah.
So you know, Tom Hanks is going to be the draw, I think, to that type of movie. When, I mean, he's pretty much an unknown. The guy who played Elvis. So Tom Hanks was, I think, pretty much like the big draw to get people to go and see it. But he's not the best part about the movie, Tom Hanks. I think that's fair to say. He's putting on a weird accent, I think. Because I think if you actually watch footage of the real Tom Parker, he doesn't really sound like that.
No, he
what
doesn't.
I've heard. So I don't really know what Tom Hanks is really going for in the role, to be honest. But I didn't mind the movie. I had a good time with it. I thought it really, really picked up as it went on. But yeah, I do get people's criticisms with it though.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Mike?
Yeah, I wasn't that keen on it. I have the same sort of opinion as Jason. Like, I felt the movie was more about Tom Parker than about Elvis, and also I went away from that movie like not learning anything about Elvis. And I feel like when you watch a biopic, you should at least learn something new. But I just felt like I didn't really learn anything about the guy. It just kind of felt like kind of like a clip show of like his sort of most iconic moments, but it didn't really delve that much into his life.
I agree. Yeah. It was very much a whistle-stop tour of bits in his life.
Yeah.
There was a couple of parts of it that really I thought should have been expanded more, but it was just like, oh, this happens, moving on, and it's just like, well, no, that was an important part of his life that should have been expanded on, but it wasn't. Yeah. You seen it yet, Alan, or not?
I haven't seen it yet. No. Is it out this Monday on DVD and Blu-ray, or?
It's coming out the 19th, I think.
The 19th, yeah. I must probably get on Blu-ray. I haven't seen it yet, no. So I can't read the comments.
Well, I hope you enjoy it when you watch it.
I hope so, yeah. I like concentrate more on Elvis, like, than rather than Tom Parker, you know. So that's a little bit of a bummer, like, you know. But I'll check it out anyway and see what I'll probably do a review of it anyway. So yeah.
Oh, that'll be good. Look forward to watching that.
Oh, cheers, thank you.
We have Dr. Impossible saying, yesterday I watched Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Being experts in all other things films, what other Paul Mazursky films would you four recommend? Time to Google this guy up.
Yes, probably someone I'm going to have to check.
Right. No, not the American Drummer. Right, let's have a look, see what he's done. Well, this is going to be a hard one. Oh, wait a minute. I think I might got one, but have you guys got any recommendations yet?
No.
I think the only one I've seen is a movie called Moscow on the Hudson with Robin Williams. It was okay.
Moscow on the Hudson. That sounds. I have heard of that one, but again, haven't seen it. What about you, Andy?
I've seen one called Harry and Tonto, which is a great film with Art Carney. He's pretty much like traveling across the country with his cat. It's a good film. I enjoyed it. I think he won best actor at the Oscars as well for that movie. It's 1974, I think. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm now just checking good old Wikipedia, and I'm just going to pick the pickle because of the name. The pickle. I have no idea. I have never heard of any other titles. What about you, Alan?
No. Never heard of him.
We've got Brett here saying, if you like Star Wars, check out Thumb Wars, the Phantom Cutlacle. It's only on for 30 minutes. I saw it a few weeks back. I'm not a sci-fi fan, but I had a great time with it. It's very funny. To be fair, most of the fan stuff is much more better than what Disney's bringing out these days, let's just say.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
We've got James here saying, after Mike's comment on Leaving Las Vegas, I watched it and really enjoyed it. Can you recommend any other Nicolas Cage films? I know there's one that Andy recommends quite a lot on the stream. That bad one.
It depends what you're after. Do you want crazy Nicolas Cage or do you want serious, good, competent Nicolas Cage? So if you want absolute crazy, insane Nicolas Cage, look no further than Deadfall. But if you want competent Nicolas Cage, like stuff like Leaving Las Vegas and Matchstick Men and Adaptation, a good Nicolas Cage movie. Guarding Tess is a good Nicolas Cage movie. But if you want like your fun action movies, I'd stick to Con Air, Face Off, The Rock. They'll give you a good time. National Treasure, and his new one as well, the Massive Talent, is a good movie.
Oh, I still need to see that one. That does look a lot of fun. Wow. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think Andy's already mentioned it, but my pick would probably be, if you want something similar to Las Vegas, probably Matchstick Men. It's a really underrated movie.
Oh, good pick. Alan?
Not really a fan of Nicolas Cage, to be honest. I haven't really seen all that many. I saw Face Off a couple of years ago. That was all right, yeah, but I don't really follow him, to be honest with you, so can't really comment.
No. Still a great pick with Face Off. I watched that a few months ago. A lot of fun.
Sorry, what one was that?
Face Off. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, saw that a few years ago as a saying that. And he was in the he was in the remake, wasn't he? The Wicker Man. Was it Wicker Man? Yeah, he was in that. I've seen bits of it, but I haven't seen it right through. Yeah. Not as good as the original, by all accounts. Yeah.
No, it's an interesting watch, shall we say.
Right.
For me, for Nicolas Cage, what was it? Colour Out of Space. I quite enjoyed that one. That's definitely out there.
Yeah. H.P. Lovecraft, based on H.P. Lovecraft, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. He's very good in it, but there's some very out there moments.
Yeah.
Willy's Wonderland is an interesting one. He doesn't say a word and he just beats some robots up, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah. I enjoyed The Weatherman. I thought that was pretty good.
I haven't seen that one. No.
And the National Treasure films. And obviously all these action films from the 90s. But I do want to watch Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And I know a lot of people keep talking about this Pig film. They say that's very good as well.
Pig, yeah.
Yeah, that is really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lord of War's a good one as well.
Oh, I'll have to add that to the list. I'm slowly getting into his movies now after watching all his action ones.
It's a shame we didn't get that Superman film.
Yeah.
Now that would have been amazing if that happened. That's such a shame. Because isn't there like images of him in the Superman suit? Yeah. Oh, shocking. Coral says Dr. Impossible sounds like a bit like a remake of My Man Godfrey. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the movie Tag?
I liked it. I liked Tag. I thought it was a good film.
That's the one with the guy who plays Hawkeye, isn't it? Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, it's like these group of friends who they've played this game of tag ever since they were at school. And they take breaks from it and then they go back to it, and it's like them playing it when they're a lot older. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Silly and daft. It's one of those types of comedies. When you look at the cast, you know exactly what to expect, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh, that sounds good. You've seen it, Mike?
No, to be honest, I'd not even heard of it. I just had to Google it.
Yeah. Alan?
Snap. I haven't seen it. Don't know anything about it. So
I think I've got it on my Google Play library. I'll keep seeing it and I'll keep meaning to watch it. It looks like a little fun little film. So yeah, I'll have to give it a go. It's not a very long film as well, is it?
No. It's based on a true story as well.
Is it? Oh,
so you actually see at the end of the movie, you actually see like the real people and how they play it.
Oh, that sounds really cool. I'll have to check that one out, Next up, we've got Edward saying, "What's your favourite John Hamm film?"
I think mine's one that came out this year, Top Gun Maverick.
That's another. Again, he's in tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, great pick with Top Gun Maverick. He's very good in that
The
one.
Town as well. I think he's in that.
Oh, still need to see that with Ben Affleck. Mike, what's your favourite John Hamm film?
Yeah, he's not really one of those go-to actors for me, but I'd probably just have to say the same as Andy: Top Gun Maverick and The Town.
I think Baby Driver as well. That's one of
He's
my
in
favorites.
Baby Driver, yeah. He's pretty good in that. Alan?
No, don't know him, so I can't comment.
Wasn't he in the TV series Mad Men? John
Yeah.
Hamm? Yeah.
Don't know.
Thought so. I'm gonna have to agree with you. Top Gun Maverick, great film, man. He's pretty good in it, and Baby Driver, I enjoyed him in that.
Was he in Bad Times at the El Royale as well? So I thought
That's
I
what
really
it
enjoyed
is.
that film.
Yeah, he's in that, and he's also in Bridesmaids. It says.
Ugh. I have mixed feelings about that film.
I've never seen it. I keep hearing it's supposed to be a fantastic comedy, but I've never really been that interested in it. I've heard of some certain scenes in it, and I'm like, do I really want to watch it? I'm not sure. We've got Coral saying, "White, Andy's over 30."
Yep.
Dr. Impossible says, "Alan, did you ever see the terrific snake thriller with Oliver Reed, Sarah Miles, and Nicole Williamson called Venom? I couldn't recommend that film enough."
I've seen it and I didn't like it. No,
Wow.
I know a lot of people. It's another one of those Marmite movies. A lot of people like it. A lot of people hate it. Yeah, I bought that a couple of years ago, special edition, and I was expecting a lot of good things from it. But yeah, I was profoundly disappointed. Yeah, so yeah, I didn't like it. Even though I'm a big fan of Oliver Reed, I thought that was one of his worst movies. Yeah, so but as I say, it's one of those Marmite movies, you know. Yeah.
What film, Alan, had you been really excited for, and then when you got it and watched it, you was really disappointed with? What was you most disappointed for?
As well as horror, any other kinds of movies?
Any sort of genre.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now, there's been a lot of low budget ones what I've reviewed and that, too numerous to mention. I've looked good when I've read the blurb and that, but when I've watched them, they've been a pile of crap. Yeah. You know. But,
what about some big budget Hollywood films that you've seen?
Big budget Hollywood movies. Well, I didn't like 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know, big budget Hollywood movies. Well, The Conjuring. When I first watched that, I wasn't too keen on it, but I gave it a second watch and I liked it better than the first time because everybody started raving over it and that, you know. Hereditary, I'm not a big fan of Hereditary. Now, I've watched that about 3 or 4 times now, and I still can't get into it. Same with Midsummer. I mean, although I must give that credit, it's a beautifully shot movie. You know, the scene is just stunning and that, you know. But yeah, Hereditary, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, movies like that, but a hell of a lot of low budget ones have looked good. But as I say, when I've got them home and watched them, I've been really disappointed in that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what, Pete, I've just thought of one, a non-horror, that Elton John one. I wasn't too keen on that.
Rocket Man.
Yeah, Rocket Man. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that. Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
No.
But I've heard some pretty good things about it, but I've just been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ain't been in a rush to see it myself.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't too keen on that.
Did you like Bohemian Rhapsody?
I haven't seen a piece.
Oh.
I've got to get around to. Yeah, I haven't seen it. No.
Carl says the 70s also had Halloween, Alien, and the greatest movie ever made, Zombie 2, aka Zombie, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine asking for that in HMV. Have you got Zombie 2, aka Zombie, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters?
It's had so many titles over the years and that. Yeah, a lot of these zombie movies they've got about 3 or 4 titles. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, Fear in the Night is a fairly solid Hammer. I quite like Revenge with Joan Collins, though not Hammer.
That's a good one, that Revenge, yeah. But you're seeing the price of it. It's about 25 quid to buy that. That
Wow.
Revenge, yeah. Yeah, the last I looked it up. You know, when you look at the price comparisons, 25 quid. Even in CX, it's about 21 quid.
Is it a special label, is it, or limited edition?
I don't know, Pete. I think it's just an ordinary Blu-ray release, yeah. But the price they're charging for it, I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not a fantastic one. You know.
Strange. Must have been a very short print on that one, hence why it's so expensive.
Yeah. Oh, right. It's very expensive, that Revenge, yeah.
Right, comments have just gone weird. Gotta wait for them to load up. DVD for Film Bloke says, I thought Razorhead was going to be about a movie about a bloke with an eraser for a head.
Yeah. I always thought Hellraiser was going to be about a fella with a pinhead. That's another story.
We've got Rogue Reviews saying there's a Criterion collection sale going on now. Bought Punch Drunk Love for 12 quid. Yes, I've been looking at that one. Sold out on Amazon, but hopefully pop in a H&B and pick that one up. Have you guys got any recommendations on the Criterion collection? Because I've only got two. I've got The Irishman and Deep Cover, I think it is, with Lawrence Fishburne.
Criterion. I've got a couple of them. Carnival of Souls. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
That'd be my pick.
Carnival of Souls. Yeah, I've got that one, yeah.
I'll write that one down. I did want to get Blowout with John Travolta. I thought that looked quite good. That's a Brian De Palma film, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. What about you, Andy? Any recommendations?
There's an old film I really like called A Face in the Crowd.
Mm.
Black and white movie. It's just amazing, that film. I just absolutely love it. Great character study. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic film. I don't want to give too much away about the plot, but it's probably best going into absolutely blind. But yeah, it's a fantastic film, A Face in the Crowd.
I see another one that you highly regard is 12 Angry Men. That's on Criterion as well.
Yeah, that movie's a masterpiece. I don't have it on Criterion, but you can't go wrong with that film. It's just wonderful. 12 Angry Men.
Any other ones, Mike?
Just trying to think what I've got. That Punch Drunk Love is a really good movie. Not one I liked the first time, but second time I loved it. I can't. I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of any others, to be honest. Yeah, some of the Wes Anderson ones are good. There's a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to research them up. But anybody in the chat got any recommendations? Just pop them in the comment section down below. But isn't Punch Drunk Love the same director of Licorice Pizza?
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah.
And Boogie Nights, which I still need to watch. DVD from Film Bloke says, good old Christopher Lee, he's the best thing about any film, no matter how bad they are. Absolutely.
He's got a Scaramanga and the man with the golden gun. That was one of his best roles, yeah. He's
always good in every single film he is. He even elevates Attack of the Clones a lot for his appearance.
Yeah.
Rogue says Christopher Lee was mental. He started doing heavy metal when he was in his 90s.
Got a good singing.
What a legend!
What
a legend!
Voice. Yeah.
Yeah. He passed away. I think he was in his mid-90s when he passed away, weren't he? That was sad.
He was quite old. Yeah.
It wasn't too long after he did the heavy metal album, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I can remember when I was in college and the news broke out. I was like, "Oh, did you hear that Christopher Lee passed away?" And every single person in the classroom was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh my days!" But like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, don't know who he is. And then I showed him the picture, and it was like, "Oh, that guy." I was like, "Oh, he's like one of the best British actors ever."
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oof.
DVD from Film Bloke says, I have the first Hammer Dracula taped on Talking Pictures TV, but I've yet to watch it. Wow, you in for a treat, mate, when you watch it. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, great film. Probably my favourite Dracula film, I'd say, out of all of them that's made.
Definitely, yeah. It's a cracking movie, that.
Rogue says, Christopher Lee never died. God just wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carl says, watched 1 million years BC yesterday, Studio Canal restoration. Brought it because it stars Raquel Welch in her younger days, but it was also such a fun movie. Also, Ray Harryhausen. Awesome. I think I've seen it many years ago when it was on BBC Two, and I did enjoy it. But
Yeah.
Studio Canal's restorations are always fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen it?
Saw it on the telly a few years ago, but I haven't got it in my collection.
Yeah. Andy?
No, it's one of those movies. I know the title. I've heard the title so many times, but I've never actually watched the film in full.
And Mike?
I think, like you, Pete, I think I saw it like years ago, like probably on the TV, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, certainly has. The viewer Drew says, who do you think is the worst Spider-Man movie villain? For me, Rhino is worst because Electro got fixed and redeemed in No Way Home. Right. So I'm gonna probably have to agree with you there. I think Rhino was definitely the worst out of all the Spider-Man films. He didn't really do much in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and to be honest, it was kind of annoying and just there to bring up the numbers of villains, I think. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I think the worst for me was probably Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin. I did not like that at all. It wasn't great.
Yes. I did not like him either. Yeah, that's the problem with Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's a lot of good in it, but also quite a lot of bad in it.
Yeah.
Mike?
I'd probably go with Venom in Spider-Man 3, because I think when they made Spider-Man 3, he originally wasn't meant to be in it, and it does kind of feel like they just somehow shoehorned him into the movie, and I think the movie could have been a lot better if he hadn't have been there.
Yeah. Sam Raimi didn't want it. They just forced it in, Sony did, and again, studio interference kind of wrecked that film. I think he wanted to do a film about Vulture or Mysterio instead. What about you, Alan?
Well, I'd say, talking before about the Green Goblin, I would say I'd nominate the film version of the Green Goblin. It didn't look anything like the Green Goblin in the comic books, the actual Amazing Spider-Man. I thought it was a very poor, sort of like a reproduction in the actual Spider-Man movie. So I'd say the Green Goblin of the Spider-Man movies, although in the comics he was a pretty formidable villain. I think he was Spider-Man's worst enemy, because he kills his girlfriend, doesn't he? Chucks her off the bridge and that he was the most despicable villain in regards to the Spider-Man comics, and a lot of Spider-Man fans agree on that. He was the most despicable one of all Spider-Man villains because he killed his girlfriend. So as we're getting back to the movies, I'd say the Green Goblin in the movies.
Dr. Impossible says, I was always impressed when dinos ruled the earth. Dino stop motion is great, but the story is such a drag. Can't remember that one. You seen it?
Years ago, yeah. Don't remember too much about it.
Rogue says, fun fact, Christopher Lee could speak 15 languages conversationally. He spoke the normal languages like French, Spanish, Italian, and German, but he could also speak Georgian, Scottish, Gaelic, and Indonesian. This man was a legend. I can remember.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Imagine having him in the room for an hour and interviewing him for an hour, the stories he could tell.
And he didn't like talking about Dracula, though, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he always shunned it.
Yeah, he was just like, it took him years, didn't it, to like lose that typecast? And he didn't really like going back to talk
Dracula at all. And all, it made him, well, basically one of the movies that made him famous. But he was very touchy about Dracula. You know what he didn't like about it? He didn't like bringing the character into modern times. That was one of his pet hates. But he also didn't like the way it departed from the Stoker novel. He wanted to play him exactly as Stoker wrote him in the novel and that. So that was another primary reason why, he didn't like talking about Dracula. He's very, very touchy about that.
He wasn't a big fan of the scripts either, was he? That's why he never spoke.
No. He used to say, like, I'm not saying that. I am the Lord of the Apocalypse. I'm not saying those ridiculous lines and that, But then they reckon on the other side of the coin, the guy who wrote the script, he never wrote those words. So who are you to believe? You to believe Christopher Lee, or you to believe the guy who said, I never wrote those words for Prince of Darkness. So bit of ambiguity there, isn't there?
Yeah.
But he definitely didn't like talking about Dracula.
It's a shame because it is well that he's quite iconic with, and he plays it so well without saying a word. To be fair,
exactly.
As soon as he appears on the screen, he just takes over.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Now, Peter Cushing, on the other side of the coin, he loved talking about Baron Frankenstein, you know, because he said, I owed the dear old Baron a lot and that, you know, he's done wonders for my acting career. But conversely, Christopher Lee, as I say, you know, didn't want to talk about Dracula. Yeah, so shame, as you say, Pete, you know.
Yeah.
But
I did enjoy Horror Express with him and Peter Cushing, and that's
a great movie. That Telly Savalas is in it as well, isn't he? Yeah, that's a great one. That I've got that one. Yeah.
DVD from Bloke says, one thing I remember about Disney VHS tapes was the anti-piracy adverts, and I'm pretty sure pirated VHS tapes didn't look as bad as they claim. I can remember the pirate ads on DVD. You would never steal this. You would never steal that. You would never steal a movie. I was like, and they were done so flashy and like some sort of, it felt like a spy thing it did at the time. DVD Public says that this bloke brought a pirate DVD and this bloke didn't commercially crack me up. Classic Reviews Josh says they changed the mythology of Thor in each one of the movies. They get well with everyone, especially from third and fourth. They seem to be more comedies, heavily comedy in the fourth one. I've heard.
That's he ruined the Freddy Krueger character, didn't he? Put a lot of comedy in. You know, the first one was the best, but after that, he started to go downhill. You know.
I think like up to 3 and 4 wasn't too bad, but then like is it
Freddy's
Dead, the Final Nightmare? Oh my days!
I didn't like that. The Dream Child, I didn't like that. But the first three, as you just said, the first three, and after that,
I still need to see. Is it New Nightmare, the last one in the box set?
Right.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Well, that's just my opinion. Like, it's not a very good movie, but we'll see what you think anyway.
Yeah, I've got the box set. Did you watch
the idea?
New
Nightmare's got a good idea, but the execution wasn't there for me. It's like how, like, you know, it's like the actors in the real world and Freddy Krueger comes in. That's like a really cool idea, but the film just doesn't execute it very well.
Right.
For me,
I have to give it a go sometime, but hopefully it'll be all right. Can't be as bad as Freddy's Dead, surely.
No, that's the worst one. It doesn't get worse than that. Yeah.
Phew. Carl says to Dr. Impossible, that movie's been on my wish list quite a while now, but I never see a price drop. DVD from Boat says, oh, and of course, you wouldn't download a car one. Yeah. Noran says, I'm a nachos man all day for cinema snacks. Close second is Reese's Pieces. I have never had Reese's Pieces.
They're really nice, Reese's Pieces.
If you like peanut butter, and like peanut chocolate.
I'm not a fan of peanut butter at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really either, but the combination of peanut butter and chocolate's really nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to give them a go. Well, if I don't like them, I'm sure my dad will eat them.
As long as he's not allergic to nuts.
Oh, definitely not. He can eat a whole jar of peanut butter for a snack. Rogue says, never got popcorn as a movie snack. Load of annoying popcorn. I know popcorn's very expensive in my local cinema. For like one tub of it's like £7, and it's not a very big tub.
Yeah.
Just bring your own.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Rogue Review says, also, there's always that one person at the back of the auditorium opening a bag of Doritos loudly whilst trying to be quiet. Yeah. Somebody who's a really loud cruncher with a rustling bag, and you're just like, please don't. Or I've had it where somebody's taking a selfie whilst eating their food, and you see a massive flash behind us,
I hate that.
and I'm just like, why? Why? Turn your phones off. Don't have a phone on when you're watching a film. But unfortunately, a lot of people do. They pay money to go to the cinema, but all they're doing is like, on Twitter, on Facebook, and I'm like, what a waste of money. Oh dear. Dr. Impossible says Jim Darford's dinosaurs are on par with Harryhausen's in my view. The WAC print is solid, but the film suffers dramatically from cavemen dialogue and grunting. Oh. Rogue Review says, I was in the cinema once and the guy in front of me did the loudest fart ever halfway through the movie and it stank. Oh dear. Oh, I think I'd have to move seats if I could. Oh dear. Haven't had that happen, thankfully. I think if I did, I'd probably shout, you dirty bugger. Carl says, Dr. Impossible said, sounds like a special effects should just be good then. Just hope the price drops at some point because $18 is a bit steep for poor wee me. Yeah, it does sound quite expensive. Andy Like Stuff says, did anyone see the Rings of Power episodes? That's that Lord of the Rings thing. I haven't seen it. I haven't had much interest in it. The day it launched on Friday really got on my nerves because every time I opened Amazon, it was like, oh, Rings of Power, come and watch. And I was like, please just go away. You seen it, Andy?
Like you, Pete, I've got no interest in this new Lord of the Rings TV show. I just stick to the movies. I just can't be bothered with it. It just feels like a cash grab to me. I'm sure the show is great and it's got quality to it and everything. I'm just not interested.
Well, there was actually something going about. It was like critics that were giving it a score less than 7, and because like they all go on IMDb.
Yeah.
IMDb is owned by Amazon, and they were removing all scores under 7.
Okay.
Which kind of come out a bit suspicious.
Biased. Yeah.
But, what do you think, Mike? Have you seen it?
Kind of similar to you guys. I just haven't had much interest. I want to watch it out of curiosity, but it's the length of the episodes that's putting me off. I think both of them are like 65 minutes, and to me, that's just too long for an episode of TV. That's almost like the length of a short movie. It's just I'd rather just watch a movie instead of that. I mean, I'll watch them at some point, but I'm not really. I just haven't had that massive urge to watch them yet.
Yeah. I think it's done really well. Obviously, it's going to do really well on Amazon. Most watched thing they've ever had. But I see the trailer. I was just like, there's nothing there for me. I'd rather sit through and watch all the films again than just watch that series. But you've seen it, Alan?
No interest whatsoever. Peace. Yeah. No interest at all. No.
We've got Brett here saying, I'm surprised we never got an X-Men or Wolverine film with the Wolverine in the yellow outfit with the mask, because as a kid, my figures were with him in the yellow outfit and in the colouring books. Yeah, that's the original iconic design, isn't it? I can remember that outfit from the X-Men cartoons. Probably we might see it when the X-Men and Wolverine come into the MCU. May happen, but be nice to see. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I would love to see those types of outfits with the X-Men because they're just so iconic. The Jim Lee style of X-Men costumes. I think the closest we got was at the end of X-Men Apocalypse. I thought the suits looked great. They were in the final scene of that movie, and then the following movie, this costumes look so generic and so boring, and it was like the last movie ended with the costumes looking really awesome and really great and as close to the cartoon as possible. And then we got these absolutely horrible generic jumpsuits, and there was just no way of distinguishing which character was wearing what or anything like that. It was awful and a huge step backwards. But yeah, I would love to see, the animated Jim Lee style costumes brought to the live action screen in a sensible way that would work.
Yeah, hopefully it'll happen in some way. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd be up for that. I'd like to see Wolverine kind of the way he's sort of meant to be, because this might be kind of controversial, but I feel like as good as Hugh Jackman is, I feel like he was slightly miscast just because of his height. I'd have loved to have seen someone like Bob Hoskins playing Wolverine. So I feel like he would have, like, he's kind of like the right height, and he's got that sort of that gruff kind of personality. But yeah, I'd like to see like the yellow outfits and stuff.
Yeah, we may just see Disney announce Danny DeVito as Wolverine.
Yeah.
That actually wouldn't be a too bad idea. I'd love to see that. What about you, Alan?
Well, as I'm not really into the X-Men, I can't really comment on that. So yeah, my favorite Marvel hero is Spider-Man. So yeah, I don't really know too much about the X-Men. So yeah, I can't really comment on that.
And what's your favorite DC superhero, Alan?
My favorite DC superhero is Batman. Yeah, Batman.
Yep.
Followed closely by Superman. Yeah, but Batman's number one. Because I used to watch, when I was a kid, I used to watch the Adam West series avidly, that was shown in the late 60s and that. Yeah. I absolutely loved that series, yeah. And definitely Batman, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember you bought the Blu-ray box set of the Batman TV series.
Yeah, Adam West. And he made a couple of good films as well outside Batman as well. He's a very versatile actor. Yeah, he's sadly no longer with us. Yeah. But I used to love Batman. The highlights of when I was at school, the highlights of my day, we're coming out of school just after 3:30 and going straight to the newsagent and getting the latest Batman comics, yeah. Because used to have a newsagent by our school, sold all the Batman comics and that, and I'd make right for them and get them all, yeah. Oh, absolutely love Batman, yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
DVD and Film Boat says Spider Baby. It's got the body of a spider, but the mind of a baby, and it couldn't really bite you unless it got a bit older. Wow. I'm confused. Is this about Spider Baby the movie or not?
I am as well, yeah. It's some sort of tagline. Never heard that one before.
Hopefully it isn't the real Spider Baby, because I'd be put off with the body of the spider straight away.
Yeah. Have you seen Arachnophobia?
No, never.
Yeah. I love that film.
I've just seen bits of it, and that's enough.
Yeah. I love that film.
Arachnophobia, yeah.
Another one is Eight-Legged Freaks. So I've seen the front cover of it, and I'm just like, no.
It's fun. Eight-Legged Freaks.
Fancy that one, ants. If you don't like ants, avoid this movie like the plague.
I know there's one on the premium range called Is It Them? Is that about ants?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like giant ants, yeah.
Yeah, the 1950s, yeah. Them. That's a good one, that. Yeah. But that's very, as I say, if you don't like ants, you best avoid that, because you do see a lot of them, believe me. Yeah.
Corusca's got the new 4K restoration of Vittorio De Sica's classic Bicycle Thieves, Ladri dia Biciclette, terrible pronunciation there, on Arrow Films, a replacement of their previous Blu-ray, which was riddled with DNR and R. Awesome. Have any of you guys seen Bicycle Thieves?
No.
Yes, I think a long time ago, though.
Right. What about you, Mike?
No, it's one that's been on my watch list for the longest time. Just not got around to watching it yet.
Oh, I've never heard of it before, but sounds interesting. Dr. Impossible says those WAC discs are pricey, Carl, for sure. After an imprint title called The Nelson Affair, made by Universal and produced by Hal Wallace. $37.99, not cheap from Australia. Wow.
Those imprint titles are so hard to get, like, for a good price.
I've seen like a few people buy some imprint stuff, and they do look like a great label, but the price, way too much. Rogue says my favourite Paul Thomas Anderson film is Boogie Nights. Pretty entertaining, and for 150 minutes film about the porn industry in the 70s. You're selling it to me, Rogue, just like Andy is. I mean, I just need 150 minutes spare, and then I can sit and watch it.
It's my favourite Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
I can understand why it does. I've read a bit about it online. I'm just like, I need some spare time and watch it. Have you seen it, Alan?
No.
No. You've seen it, Mike, haven't you?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it probably is one of the most entertaining movies like of all time. It's never boring, even for a 2.5 hour movie. There's so much going on, so much great stuff, great soundtrack, great cast, great story. There's great subplots. There's just so much to keep you entertained in that movie.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome. I'll have to dig out my copy because I've hid it up somewhere, and I don't know why I've hid it up, because I've hid it up in case my dad puts it in and gets a shock. Bradley says, hey guys, hope you're well. Do any of you own a region-free Blu-ray player? If yes, was it worth getting? If no, do you have any plans of getting one? Currently considering it.
Yeah, I've got one, yeah.
You've got one, oh yeah?
Definitely.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Alan?
Fantastic, yeah. I wouldn't be without it now, yeah, because I've got a load of American imports and that. But the only thing is, you've got to change the region every time you swap over from a British movie to an American. You've got to make sure you press the region, otherwise it won't play. But yeah, I wouldn't be without it now, and it's a 4K as well. So yeah,
very good.
Yeah,
our region-free Blu-ray's quite expensive to get.
It depends really. I've had some pretty cheap ones and that, but then you've got at the other end of the scale, you've got about 30 quid and that, But yeah, it depends on the movie and that, Yeah, but I wouldn't be without it now, Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You got one, Andy?
Yeah. I can only echo what Alan's just said. I paid about £120 for mine. And it's been an absolute godsend when you get imprints from America or anywhere in the world. If it's not region 2 or region B, because I remember the first time I absolutely got stung by it, and when I found out that not every DVD, not every Blu-ray would play on the same player, and I had to do research into it, and you have to get a multi-region player, and mine pretty much similar to Alan's is on my remote. The yellow and blue buttons change the region.
That's it.
So you've got to you just have to do that, because if you forget to do it and you go back to like putting your standard Blu-rays in, they won't work.
That's right.
But I would absolutely, if anyone is thinking of buying movies that you can't get in the UK, that you can only get imprinted over abroad, invest in a multi-region player. It's just an absolute godsend. It's fantastic.
Definitely.
But I do have a separate 4K player, but we don't have that. We don't have region lock issues with 4K, because 4K will play anywhere. But if it depends, if you want to buy movies that you can't get in the UK, or you can't get movies wherever you live, if you've got to get them imported, invest in a multi-region player. It's fantastic. You'll never look back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got one, Mike?
Yeah, same really. I don't really buy as many Blu-rays from other like American Blu-rays, but I'm still glad to have it because it is very handy to have.
Yeah. I just have a normal bog standard Blu-ray, but definitely have been thinking about getting a region-free one. I have bought a few like foreign import versions, but I've been careful, making sure, doing my research to get either Australian ones or European ones, because I know that they work on the UK versions. With American ones, it is a bit dodgy, as some of them are region-free, but some of them aren't. And buying on eBay, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So definitely worth looking into it. But I know another cheap way of getting a region-free Blu-ray is for a PS3. I know that you can turn that into a region-free Blu-ray quite easily. So I don't know how much pre-owned one of them is, but yeah, I'm going to have to look into one. Next up, we have Marvel fan saying, "Hey guys, hey mate, thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well." Carl says, "Oh, that has just recently been released, right? Maybe another label will also release it also. Yeah, maybe so." Rogue says, "I've done it. I've managed to achieve monitoring porn the earliest in the stream." We are an hour and a half in, and that is the first mention of the P word, I think. Right. Oh, sorry about that. Right. move on from that. Carl says, I don't know what the fuck Tom Hanks was doing in that movie, Elvis, but for sure he wasn't acting in the movie Elvis. The guy is seriously on drugs. He certainly was something else in that movie. As I said, I still think he was trying to do his best child catcher impression from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Edward says, what's your thoughts on The Last King of Scotland? That's one with, is it Forrest Whitaker and James McAvoy? I see it many years ago on Channel 4. Thought it was pretty good, but haven't seen it in a long while. Mike?
No.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, Forrest Whitaker's really, really good in it. Yeah, I can't say much more than that. It's a solid drama.
Andy?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's not one of my favorites. It's not one I go back to. I'll if often at all, to be honest. But it is a good, solid movie. I think Forrest Whitaker won Best Actor as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
playing Eddie Armin. Yeah,
he was very good in that.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it, Alan?
I've never seen it. No, never seen it. No.
We've got a Marvel fan saying, hey guys, hey Marvel fan. Dr. Impossible says, yep, Darrow will surface on Indicator. Too busy releasing amateur films on Michael J. Murphy. You might like Murphy, Cara. Take a look at his back catalogue sometime. Cara says, I tried to check Murphy's filmography when they announced that set. That even to bottom of the barrel for me, I'm afraid. Rogue says, fun fact, Elvis only entered the UK once in his entire life, and that was being parked in Glasgow Airport in his private plane. He never entered the country himself. Yeah.
That's right.
Jason said, do you ever find if a movie is overhyped that it can affect your movie experience? I definitely do agree with that. If you hear a film is lauded and applauded so much and you go in thinking that it's going to be the best thing ever, there is a high chance that you may come out a little bit disappointed. That's why I try to go in to each film and just go in neutral. And films that are not that good that I've heard, just go in not expecting nothing at all. Overhypeness and word of mouth is great, but it can also be damaging to some films as well. But what do you think, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've ever had that myself, where a movie's been so hyped up by people and I've gone in and gone, well, that wasn't as good as they've made out to be. I've never really had that experience, but I always worry that sometimes when I talk about movies that people haven't seen and I try and like explain the plot a little bit, I wonder if I'm just like, oh, well, am I overselling this, or are they going to go in and go, well, that actually wasn't that good? But yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, that.
You always perfectly sell movies, you do. You always got a great way of describing them.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think for me, I remember when I was younger that there were quite a few times when I myself would really overhype movies. These days, I try to just not like overhype them at all. I don't really try to get excited, because I just know if I overhype them and they're a disappointment, then it'll just be very disappointing. I remember the last few movies that I overhyped myself was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, The Force Awakens, and The Dark Knight Rises, and all three of them I just came out a little bit disappointed. Well, Force Awakens was okay, but the other two I remember I was bitterly disappointed with both movies, and since then I just try not to overhype movies.
Oh, I remember the same with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That was a bit of disappointment. And Dark Knight Rises. But for me, it wasn't Force Awakens, it was Last Jedi, and that hurt for many different reasons.
Yeah.
What about you, Alan?
Well, there's been quite a few movies across not just horror, but other genres as well. For instance, like I wasn't too keen on. Well, I remember Once Upon a Time in the West, when that came out. A lot of people raved over that. They said it was better than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But when I saw it, I didn't like it, and that, so that's an example of one. outside the horror genre. And then there's one. Have you ever heard of Don't Look Now, the Donald Sutherland movie? Yeah. Watched that only the other night. Again, when it first came out, I wasn't too keen on it, but I thought I'll give it another go. And but I still thought it was slow. It was very slow. There wasn't really much going on in it. Like you see him in Venice and that, and you see him with the figure, with the figure he thinks it's his daughter in the red sort of like coat, come back from the dead. But I won't give away anybody after seeing it. I won't give away the twist. But yeah, and Hereditary again, going back to that. I tried to like that movie so much, I really did. And I just I thought it had a pretty good idea, like the demon and that, but I just couldn't really get into it and say that's one of the best horror films I've ever seen, So Hereditary, Midsummer, movies like that, as I said before about The Conjuring, everybody raved over that. But when I first watched it on the DVD, I didn't think much of it. Then I gave it another watch and I liked it. Because sometimes you can watch a movie, not like it the first time, but you go back to it. It doesn't happen very often with me, because as you know, if you watch my videos, I'm very, very blunt about the movies and that. But The Conjuring was one of the few on second view and that I liked. I hated The Nun. I couldn't get into that at all.
I think that's one of the weaker ones in the Conjuring franchise.
It's terrible, that one. It's awful.
I mostly kept with the Conjuring 1, 2, and 3. I didn't mind 3. I know a lot of people didn't like that one, but I thought it was all right.
Oh yeah.
I know one film that a lot of people do like to overhype, and a lot of people have watched it and haven't been keen on it. And I haven't seen it myself, and I've been thinking about getting it. And that's Easy Rider. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, I've seen Easy Rider.
What do you think of it?
I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't know. It didn't do much for me. It doesn't really have much of a plot. It's just kind of like it's very loose with it.
That's what a lot of people seem to say. It doesn't really have no plot.
Yeah.
It's just them going across the road meeting people. That's what somebody said.
Yeah. It's got a great soundtrack. The 60s soundtrack's really good, but other than that, it didn't really do much for me.
Painting Your Wagon was another one I didn't like. That a lot of people raved over that. The Clint Eastwood music.
Clint Eastwood one,
I didn't like that either. Paint Your Wagon.
Yeah, that isn't probably his strongest hour. Did you see his new one, Cry Macho?
Didn't like a piece. Although I love Clint Eastwood, I was very disappointed with it. Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's a bit slow. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Don't need sleeping tablets to watch that. a lot of these movies, that boring. If you suffer from insomnia, just put one of them on and that, before you know it, you're nodding off. I found that anyway. You don't, if you have trouble getting to sleep, just put a boring movie on and that, you start dropping off.
That's one of the reasons I love your reviews. They come out with some brilliant things,
like
your Midsummer one.
Yeah, I try not to be too serious. I like to pep them with a bit of humour.
The songs of praise and the Swedish tourist board thing from Midsummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it's a lovely shot movie. But I think if that had been made a bit shorter and had been tweaked a little bit, I might have liked it. I thought it went on a bit too long. Yeah. But it was a lovely shot movie, beautiful colour. Yeah. But that was the only thing. It was a bit too long. Yeah.
It's a great looking Blu-ray. It's definitely one of the best looking Blu-rays out there.
Absolutely stunning. Yeah.
Andy Lake Stuff says Down and Out in Beverly Hills, old school film, Dr. Impossible. We've got Bumpers Movies here saying Evening All, 8mm, a good Nicolas Cage film.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, agree with that. Is that Joel Schumacher directed that, I think?
We've got Carl saying It's Bumper. Yeah. Great to see Bumpers here. Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collections here saying hello. Hey mate, hope you're doing well. Marvel fan says, has anyone tried M&M's ice cream? I have too sickly for me. It's too much chocolate. Chocolate ice cream with chocolate sauce and M&M's, but the ice cream tastes like Wall's Mini Milks chocolates. Oh, I used to love Mini Milks as a kid. I don't like M&M's, so I wouldn't never had it. I'm more Ben and Jerry's, Haagen-Dazs, but even then, I only have a little bit of it because it's way too sickly. So have you tried that ice cream, Andy?
Not the M&M's one, no. not their ice cream. No, but like you, Pete, I like Ben and Jerry's and Haagen-Dazs.
Very nice, but can be quite expensive depending on where you get it from.
Oh yeah, always get it when it's on Club Card.
Yeah, we have a Heron food, so sometimes you get a tub for like £2, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. Don't pay for like $3.99 for it. It's not worth it.
Oh, we have a corner shop here that charges £7.50 for Ben and Jerry's.
Wow.
How's that place still open?
People go in and buy it. That's the thing. I'm just like, yeah, no, they can bugger off with that. That's way too expensive. What about you, Mike? You had this ice cream?
No, yeah, it does sound a bit sickly to me, like chocolate ice cream and chocolate sauce. Like, it sounds a bit too much for me. I'm not really the biggest fan of chocolate ice cream. I just prefer like vanilla or some other type of flavors. Yeah.
With me, when we have Neapolitan, I always eat the vanilla and the strawberry and leave the chocolate.
Yeah.
What about you, Alan? What sort of ice cream you like?
It sounds a bit sickly for me as well. Yeah. So I think I'll pass on that.
Never thought I'd be talking about ice creams now on live stream.
Vanilla. Yeah, I like vanilla's my favourite. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Coral says, I feel Nicolas Cage, aka God, is in so many movies that it seems almost impossible to find a movie that he's not in.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Dr. Impossible says, Michael J. Murphy is totally bottom of the barrel. Saw Mutant City and Return of Alan Strange and couldn't stop laughing. Nearly defecated myself. Never heard of him. Have you guys heard of him?
No.
Right, just gotta wait for the comments. Carl says, I hate you. Now you've made me curious to actually see these movies. Bumpus Movie says, similar with Sam Jackson. I swear he's in every film I ever see. Yeah, he pops up in a lot of films, I must admit. But he's great. Cora says, I want to defecate myself. Okay. Dr. Impossible says, you generally might like them. You may pee and defecate together. Michael J. Murphy films really do stretch the concept of bad. Well, I'm intrigued now. You've won me over, Dr. Impossible. Bumpers Movie says, a Black Mirror Christmas special with John Hamm is mind-blowing stuff. I've heard a lot of people talk about this Black Mirror. That's Charlie Brooker in it. And they say it's a very good show. I think it's on Netflix, or it started off as the Channel 4 show. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Heard so many positive things about it, but just never watched it.
I think there was one episode somebody said it was like a decide your own episode. You could pick options to see like what will happen with this character. You could go like turn left or turn right, so to speak, which was quite cool. Rogue says, favourite Father Ted episode, mine has to be the Chinese one. I don't know why, but I find it hilarious that Ted accidentally keeps mocking himself, doing something actually racist at the start. I always enjoyed the Christmas one where they go through the lingerie. I always thought it was absolutely hilarious. It's a great show, it is.
Yep.
Carl says, Dr. Impossible, oh wow, might buy it during one of the indicator sales. Hopefully there'll be an indicator sale soon, because it's been a little while since we've had one. Bumpers says there's a Blu-ray box set coming out in December, and it's all a collection of all the old-fashioned ghost stories that used to be on the BBC Christmas Eve back in the 60s and 70s, right up my street, that is.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
They're a little bit of hit and miss. Some are good and some aren't so good. Bit of hit and miss them. Yeah. My favourite one is Oh Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad. That's my favourite, yeah. Where he finds the thing on the beach, I think it's a flute, and if he blows it, the ghost comes into his bedroom. That's my favourite one, that one. But they're a bit of hit and miss, good. Yeah.
I know a few years ago BBC tried to bring it back for 1 or 2 years, like ghost stories on a Christmas Eve, but it didn't really work out.
No.
Rogue Review says we need a Blu-ray Father Ted box set. I agree. We need more classic comedy on Blu-ray. I heard the Only Fools and Horses, the specials ones that they did on Blu-ray were pretty good, but very expensive for just a few episodes.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, but Michael J has one big fan base, so who knows, Alan? Have you seen any Michael J. Murphy films?
No.
Have you guys seen any Michael J. Murphy films? I have no idea who he is.
Name doesn't ring a bell, I'm afraid.
No.
Right. Brett says, what title would you like to see get a British Blu-ray release? Mine are Hands That Rocks the Cradle, Fanged Up, Torment, Haxon in L'Inferno, Freaks, Brain Dead, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Splinter. Great picks there, Brett. Alan, what
Definitely
Blu-rays?
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Yeah. And also The Ghoul, starring Peter Cushing. That's a great one, that, from 1975. Also, Legend of the Werewolf, another Peter Cushing movie, definitely needs a Blu-ray release, yeah. And there's others as well, made in the 60s and that. But yeah, definitely that one, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
The only one I can think of is The Keep by Michael Mann. I'd like to see a Blu-ray of that.
Oh, that sounds good. Andy?
I think the one I can think of the most, I don't know if there is a Blu-ray of this, but I've got a DVD of it, and it's not the best quality, but it's a movie. I think I mentioned this before. I think it's a movie with Boris Karloff called Targets.
Oh yeah,
I love that film.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one. Yeah.
If there's a Blu-ray of that, I'd buy it tomorrow.
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
it's an
definitely.
awesome movie that never really gets talked about.
Yeah, there's been murmurings of that. They might release that pretty soon. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully, because it's a cracking film.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll agree, Alan. It's so good.
Yeah. So you never know.
Oh, that definitely does sound good, especially the one Mike says as well, the Michael Mann one. I honestly don't know what to think for me. I probably would say Brain Dead. It would be great to see that on Blu-ray in the UK. Can't really think of nothing straight off the top of my head, but again, Brett's got a great list there.
Yeah, I've just thought of another one that needs a Blu-ray release. A movie called Twisted Nerve, starring Hayley Mills. It was made in 1969. That definitely needs a Blu-ray release. That's a good one. That. Yeah. Hayley Mills. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Jumped in the River. What did I see? Rocket Man was amazing and far better than Bohemian Rhapsody. I have heard a lot of people said that. I must admit, I really enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody when I first saw it, but I haven't actually seen it again. And I've heard a lot of people say, obviously, it's like a Disney-fied version of the story and doesn't tell the full story. But again, I've heard some good things about Rocket Man, so I've got to give it a go. What do you think, Andy?
I kind of like both films equally, to be honest. I did enjoy both of them, but I think it depends as well if you like the artist or the band. Depends how much of a connection you have there as well. But I think on a movie front, I did enjoy both Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody quite equally, to be honest.
Yeah. I must admit, Bohemian Rhapsody did get me at the end. I did tear up with that. That's a good bit. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, same as Andy, really. I like both of them. I've heard a lot of people say that Rocket Man is a lot different, but I don't really think it is. I think they're both very, very similar movies. I'm pretty sure it's the same director who did both of them.
I think it was Bryan Singer who was brought on for Bohemian Rhapsody, but then he got sacked, and then I think it was Dexter Fletcher.
But I know he did Rocket Man, and he did a little bit of but I think they're both very, very similar, and like Andy says, it just depends on whether you like Elton John more or Queen more. I'd probably say Bohemian Rhapsody because I do like Queen quite a lot, but yeah, they're both very similar.
Oh, awesome. I'll have to check out Rocket Man very soon. It's sitting here in the pile. I'll have to get around to it soon. But I know you said, Alan, you wasn't very keen on it.
Rocket Man. I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, but I've seen Rocket Man. I didn't like that one, but I've got to get to see Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, so
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I
Won't
hope
be a
you
minute,
enjoy
Pete.
it, mate.
Won't be a minute, mate.
No worries, no worries. James Townsend said, I watched Dog Soldiers the other day on the new 4K box set and I found it very overrated. Yeah, a lot of people, when they first watched the film, weren't very keen on it. I must admit, I've seen it 2 or 3 times and enjoyed it all the way. I've seen it twice this year because it's been on TV. But I can see how some people would. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I think this is, for me, this is a perfect example of a movie being overhyped. That when I watched it, I was a bit disappointed by it going into it, to be honest. But I got the 4K box set of it this year, and
Awesome.
I rewatched it again for a second time, and I did enjoy it more. But I still don't think it's as good as what people are saying. But if people enjoy the movie, that's absolutely fine and that's great. But for me, I think I was just a little bit let down by it personally. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think it's a solid, good 7.5, 8 out of 10 film.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's like about like a 6.7, 6.8 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but what was I going to say? The 4K box set is absolutely lovely with what they've done there.
Oh, the work gone into that set is just wonderful. I think Second Sight have done just such a cracking job with it.
It definitely does look lovely. The booklet, I think, do you get some art cards with it or a
But
poster?
yeah, the art cards, yeah, fantastic with it.
Awesome.
Just the artwork on the cover itself as well is.
Yeah, the front cover looks wonderful. I definitely want to get the Blu-ray of it sometime.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Same here. To be honest, I think it's a bit overhyped. Yeah, it was like a solid 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I gave the 4K a miss because I just don't really like the movie enough to get it. But I've heard the 4K is meant to look really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people always say it's like second only to American Werewolf in London in like best werewolf films.
Yeah.
But there's still quite a few out there. But yeah, it's a solid film. And I'm glad it's got the 4K treatment and they've done it really well with the box set.
Yeah. There was a similar movie that I watched as well, which also starred Sean Pertwee in it, called Wilderness. And I went into that not knowing anything about it. I thought it was far better than Dog Soldiers.
Oh, I'll have
to be honest,
keep an eye
it's
out
not
for that one.
a werewolf movie, but I had a cracking time with that film. I thought it was, I just enjoyed it so much more than Dog Soldiers.
Oh, that's good.
It's kind of like similar. Like, I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's kind of like that similar setting where it's in the woods.
Ooh.
And it had Sean Pertwee in it, and it was just really good. Really enjoyed it.
Ah, Sean Pertwee's always great.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Alan? Dog Soldiers?
Oh, quite a few years ago. Yeah, I don't remember too much about it, but I know that the military aspect of it, the soldiers and that. But I don't think I'll be getting the 4K or the Blu-ray. So, not really a movie I want to revisit, really. So, and I think I'll be passing on that. Yeah.
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 Dr. Impossible says you didn't like Venom. Oh, I better sliver off then. Bumpers Movie says Carnival of Souls is only 12 quid on Criterion in the HMV sale. Picked it up myself. Amazing movie. Awesome. I'm definitely going to have a look at that. Make a little list up. Coral says I ordered the 2 films of the Doris Wishman box set released by AGFA. Never seen any of them, but she was a female pioneer in the sexploitation genre and started when she was in her 40s. Wow. Moving on. Dr. Impossible says you'll have to wait until next year, of course, seeing as it's a new box set. Doubt it'll sell out anytime soon. Did you like Norman J. Warren, Coral? Rogue says, in the Criterion sale, I'd recommend Terry Gilliam's The Fisher King and Midnight Cowboy. Ah, great picks there. I did notice Midnight Cowboy, and it did sound quite good, and Terry Gilliam's always great, so Fisher King, I'll keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
James says, have you bought any new shelves for all those films yet, Alan?
No, I've yet to find some shelves that are ready made, you know. But at the way things are going at the moment, I'm not having much luck because I've got no patience with putting things together. I've said this before, so yeah, I haven't got any new shelving yet, but I'm still looking in that, you know. So once I get the new shelving, I'll spread them all out, and that's I'll have all my titles all sort of like not hiding behind each other and that, as it were, you know. So yeah, I'm looking anyway. So you never know.
Yeah, most of them are all just like flat pack furniture that you have to build up yourself.
Yeah, I've got no patience for that, you know. And the bigger the thing is, the more screws and that, you know. A bit daunting for me, that and that. Never been one much for DIY, you know. I've got no patience. Not got no patience at all with DIY, but you never know. I might come across one eventually in that. So yeah, see what happens. Like,
yeah, to be fair, I found out in like not like DFS, but it was a place similar to DFS, and they sold them like that, and they just deliver them in the van. So
yeah,
maybe worth checking out a place like that.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
We got Bumpers movie saying deep cover, Beast of the Nations, and Menace to Society worth picking up on Criterion. Do have deep cover. Did see Menace to Society, that did look quite good. Oh, there was one that I saw today that looked quite good. It had Sissy Spacek in it. It's like a Bonnie and Clyde sort of film.
Is it Badlands?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great film.
I think it's on premium as well, but I noticed the Criterion. I was like, ooh, that sounds good. Carl says, Bumper Movies. Here, have a virtual thumbs up. Aha, cheers, Carl. Bumpers Movie said The Irishman, another good Criterion, but don't do what I did and buy the DVD by mistake. I remember you told us that.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the DVD's in like a proper case, isn't it? Whilst the Blu-ray's in like this cardboard case thing. And don't get me wrong, great set, but I'm not keen on the whole cardboard setup. I'd rather have a proper Amaray case.
Yeah. I'll say this, the Criterion release of Marriage Story is a fantastic set. That's a really good release. But Criterion did a cracking job with that. Because it comes with like 2 letters on both either side. When you open it out and you can read it, it's a cracking set.
Yeah, I've heard it's a good film. I saw on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was I going to say now? Does every Criterion, no matter if you bought it like 2 or 3 years later, come with a booklet?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think it's ever happened with me where I bought one and it didn't have a booklet. They always seem to have them.
Because I saw somebody say online you always get a booklet, and I'm thinking about buying 1 or 2 from Amazon. I was like, do I get a booklet or not? I didn't know whether it was like Arrow, like after a limited run they don't do the booklets.
Yeah, Criterion they never seem to go out of print. They're just always in stock. I don't know if they just make like so many of them, but yeah, I don't know.
We've got Cara again saying Dr. Impossible. I have indicated a box set of Norman Jane ones, saw them all, but wasn't a fan. Might give them a rewatch to give them a second chance. Sounds good. Rogue Review says, I've seen everything PTA directed now except his first film, which is only has an out of print DVD, but I'm going to track it down into charity shop. Awesome. I think I did see your Instagram post with all your PTA films, so that's cool.
I think that is his first one, Hard 8. I think.
Yeah, Hard 8,
yeah.
That's one you can get on the imprint label, but yeah, I think it's probably quite expensive.
Yeah. Dr. Impossible says Warren is total shy. Try to watch Prey, probably is better film, but that's not saying too much. The rest I vomited over. Andy Lakestuff says, what actor or actress death impacted you the most? For me, it was Sir Sean Connery. I mourned for weeks. Yeah, that was quite a shock when he passed away. Christopher Lee, that's another one. What about you guys, Andy?
I think for me, I was absolutely gutted when he died, but he was very, very old. Was Kirk Douglas? He was he was 103 when he passed away, but he was. It felt like he was like the last real actor of the golden age left.
Yeah.
And when he went, it felt like we lost like a big piece of that golden age history in cinema. Because I bet he must have been a cracking storyteller.
I can imagine, definitely. Mike?
Yeah, there's two for me that when they died, it really shocked me. The first one was Robin Williams. I just remember I couldn't believe it when he died. And also Bill Paxton, just because it was so unexpected. I just did not imagine it was going to happen.
Yep, I agree there. Another one that was quite a shock. I only really knew him for Black Panther, but Chadwick Boseman, when he passed away, that news came out of the blue. Alan?
Well, obviously Christopher Lee, piece of cushion, and if you want to bring in the musical aspect, Elvis Presley, that was a real shock in 1977. Oh, couldn't believe it when it came on the news and that, yeah. I mean, Mum absolutely idolizes Elvis, oh, she was really shocked in that, but oh yeah, there's been so many, hasn't there, but yeah, Elvis, I think, was the biggest, he was an absolute icon, wasn't he? Yeah. Oh, regards, ladies. Veronica Carlson out the Hammer films, a blonde girl. She passed away recently in that. Yeah, that was very sad in that. Yeah, Veronica Carlson.
Definitely.
And of course, Olivia Newton-John. That was a shock as well. Yeah,
that was a shock.
Grease.
Very sad.
Yeah, absolutely love Grease. Yeah, wasn't keen on Grease 2 though, but Grease, it's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah. Great film.
Yeah.
DVD and Film Look says Studio Canal has sure come a long way since their early days. I mean, the first Blu-ray Escape to New York is an upscale DVD. Yeah,
it was horrible quality.
They're one of the best labels out there now. When you see Studio Canal, you know you're getting a film of quality, shall I say? Yeah, I know I got that. I'm pretty certain it was a Studio Canal release of The Wicker Man with the 3-disc set. Very lovely set.
Yeah.
Rogue says, favourite David Fincher film? Mine is Zodiac. I would say 7 for me. It's a great film. I do like that. He did The Game as well, didn't he, with Michael Douglas?
Yeah, Game.
Yeah, I've got that. I've yet to see that one. Same with Zodiac. But Andy?
Yeah, Zodiac's great. I love that film. I also really like Gone Girl. That's fantastic film.
A good one. Yeah.
There's one I despise as well, which is The Social Network. I don't go with that film at all.
It kind of doesn't really suit with his other films, to be fair.
No, I just don't like that movie.
No.
But yeah, probably I'd probably say Gone Girl because that was the last. I remember going to see that at the cinema and just having a great time with it. It was just a great drama with a great cast, and I was really, really hooked with where the story was going to go.
Yeah.
I think his new one, Mank, wasn't too bad either. It's not his best work, but it was quite good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, haven't seen that one. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Mike?
It's a toss up between Seven and Zodiac, but I'll also give a shout out to that show he did on Netflix called Manhunter. That was pretty good. It's worth watching.
That's cool. Alan?
I'm not really familiar with his work, so I can't comment. Yeah, I don't really know much about him. So.
Yeah. Carl's saying, haha. Rogue says, Elsa, David Fincher, can you please get Panic Room on Blu-ray already? Edward says, what's your thoughts on the new Lord of the Rings TV show on Prime? We talked about this earlier. None of us are really that interested in watching it, but may give it a go later on. Carl says, Rogue Review, did you mean Hard 8 by PTA? Rogue says, yep, I meant Hard 8, but forgot the title. Yeah. Coral says to Rogue, it's available on Blu-ray from Spain for $10.70 or Australia for $30. Or should I say euros for Spain? Rogue says, I'll wait on Hard A as I'll move in house now and on Blu-ray ban until then. Thanks, Coral. Oh, wow, moving house, that's very stressful, mate.
Yeah.
Hope the move goes well. Dr. Impossible says, Peter Jackson tried to shut Lee up on set of The Return of the Kings during takes. Lee never stopped gassing about the war and films. All Jackson wanted to do was get on making the film.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I think they had a bit of a falling out by the third film because he cut all his scenes out, didn't he? And you could only watch them in the extended cut.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Hmm.
But the stories he would talk about, I bet they're amazing. Carl says, you're welcome. Good luck with moving and getting through your Blu-ray band. Edward says, what's your thoughts on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and The Wolf of Wall Street coming to Arrow Blu-ray? Will you be picking them up? Do you want to go first, Alan?
No, definitely not. Not my cup of tea. No.
No. Andy?
Yeah, I've got Prince of Thieves on pre-order. I'm not picking up The Wolf of Wall Street. That is just a strange title for the Arrow label for me. I love the film. I think the film's great, but it does not belong on Arrow. But definitely picking up Prince of Thieves. Just waiting for that to come in the post now when it gets released.
Are you getting the Steelbook set, or are you just getting the 4K?
I'm getting the Zavi Steelbook 4K.
Oh, that's a gorgeous set.
Because I can't wait to hear that's the soundtrack for Prince of Thieves on 4K because the music in that film's great.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, I've same as Andy. I've ordered Prince of Thieves, Wolf of Wall Street. Not interested at all. I've got it on Blu-ray, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I picked up Wolf of Wall Street a few months ago from Poundland for £1, so I think I'll keep with that, to be fair. I haven't seen the film yet. I think the box set's a bit expensive. It's £5 more than a standard one. And as you guys say, it's a very odd one for Arrow to release, a bit too well-known a film, shall I say. But Robin Hood, definitely will get the Blu-ray box set of that. I know I did pick up the Arrow edition quite recently, like the older one for $5.99, but definitely will get this upgraded one. You get the extended cut and loads of special features, booklet, and just an Arrow box set. They're always great. So yeah, look forward to that. Rogue says, I really enjoyed New Nightmare. It's my third favourite Elm Street film after the original and the third. Yeah. I'll look forward to giving it a watch. The first one is just fantastic film. I love that one to bits. But the third one is so much fun. It's just so enjoyable. And then you got Lawrence Fishburne in there as well, which was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
I think the thing about the third one is you like the characters of the kids in the hospital more than you like Freddy in that movie.
Yeah.
You just really like sort of connect with those cast of characters, and it gets really creative when they go into like the dream world and they've all got their own powers, and it gets really creative and fun. Well,
and it kind of feels like a more direct sequel to the original than the second one did, as it obviously brings back Nancy. DVD from Bloke says, I think Arrow's just ran out of films. Either that or popular films are cheaper to get the rights to. Nah. I don't think we'll be finding Arrow releasing Iron Man or an MCU film anytime soon, though.
No.
What? Pardon? What are you saying?
Sorry, Pete. I was just going to say they're doing Desperado, aren't they?
Oh wow!
They got. I got a postcard for that one in one of my releases. So I think they're doing that.
Supposed to be doing the Frighteners, weren't they?
Yeah.
I got a couple of art cards for them.
Yeah, I got one for that. It was like 2 years ago. I got that postcard. So I don't know what's happened to that.
Very odd. But what would you like to see come out on Arrow if you could persuade them to bring something out?
There's a movie I've talked about quite a bit called Talk Radio. I think that would be amazing for Arrow. They did that.
I tell you what, I'd love to see in a box set from Arrow, the Blind Dead movies. They're absolutely fantastic. Have you seen a Blind Dead, guys?
No.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, they're from the 70s. They're like the Knights Templar, but it's very, very supernatural aspect to it and that. But I've got the imports and that, what I got off Amazon Germany. But I'd love to see an Arrow box set of the Blind Dead. They're fantastic movies, they really are. Yeah, so you never know. You might do a box set of them. The Blind Dead, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Sounds good.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Probably going to sound like a broken record, but I'd probably say The Keep again, the Michael Mann film. I think that I could just imagine it in like a box set with like, because Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack. I could imagine them including the CD for that and things like that. And also, I can for some reason I can picture them doing Cobra, the Sylvester Stallone movie. I can just kind of picture that being released in like a nice fancy box set with that really cool artwork of Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah, that would be quite good. It would be nice for them to bring out some like Hammer horror films, but obviously that wouldn't happen. I think I said this on a previous stream, but I'd love to see him release Galaxy Quest in a nice big box set. I think that would be just superb. But yeah, I still wonder whether we'll get a Thief 4K on Arrow, like one of them box set ones, like what they're doing with Videodrome. I can see that happening.
Is the Blu-ray, is that a 4K, like a 4K Blu-ray? I can't remember if it is, because if it is, they probably will do an Ultra HD one.
I think it may be. I know there has been rumblings of people talking about it could happen next year. It would be nice, but I can imagine it'd be quite good, because I know the first edition of it came with like 2 cuts of the film on 2 discs.
Yeah, that's the one I've got, I think, with the slipcover.
Yeah, I just got the box standard edition. DVD from Film Black says the original Elm Street 3 and New Nightmare are my favourite. Great. Talking of Nightmare on Elm Street, I see they've announced Freddy Nightmares on Blu-ray now, coming to Germany.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah,
but it's coming later this year, which is pretty good. I have seen a few episodes of that. I didn't mind it. Thought it was quite fun. DVD from Film Black says, although Freddy Dead, The Final Nightmare is really funny.
Not sure about that.
It's a polar opposite of the original. Something else.
There's one death in that movie that is horrible. That is just horrific.
Is it the ear one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just it's nasty the way that.
Yeah.
For me, it's the fourth. I think it's the fourth one. Is it with the cockroach death? Oh
yeah, the Broach Motel.
Yeah. Oh dear. Dr. Impossible says, how can people consume Marmite? To me, it's easiest way to make me reach and hurl, like Regan McNeil and The Exorcist.
I like it.
I don't. Pardon? You like it?
Yeah.
Do you like it, Andy?
You know what? I can take or leave it, to be honest. It's one of them. I've tried it. I don't think I could eat it like enough of it over like a piece of toast or anything like that. But I could eat like Marmite flavored crisps.
Yeah, they're quite nice. I've tried one of them. They're not too bad. Alan, you like Marmite?
No. Definitely not. No.
Oh, it's getting like a food stream tonight, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Where's the hairy bikers? The hairy bikers.
I don't like Marmite. Don't mind the crisps. No. I remember when I was a kid, they gave away like some sort of Pant and Bear toy, so I just bought like loads of Marmite, and my dad just ate them all.
Yeah.
Rogue says, also, why does everything get a TV show nowadays? I think they just want to expand the story and try to keep these franchises going, basically. DVD Purple says that Spider Baby quotes from Father Ted. All right. Don't know which episode. Arachnophobia is great fun. Probably not for me though. I'll probably have sleepless nights.
Yeah. If honestly, like if you don't like spiders, don't watch that film.
No.
Yeah.
It does get quite full on by the end.
Oh my days, yes. The Doctor Who spider episodes were bad enough.
Yeah. You know what? You know, while we're on the subject of spiders, I can think of two scenes in non-spider movies. The one with the Hound of the Baskervilles, where Christopher Lee, it's on his shoulder, and then the one with Sean Connery, where it's in the bed. They're the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
In
The two of them.
Doctor No, yeah.
Very creepy. Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, that's getting me now.
Oh, the Incredible Shrinking Man as well. That was pretty. Yeah. The Incredible Shrinking Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Radley says, how much time do you spend watching old classics like Escape to Victory or Psycho on Blu-ray compared to new releases?
I definitely watch older films more on physical than I do like newer films.
Yeah, I would say the same. I buy more older films than newer films, and yeah, I watch some newer films when they come out, but it's majority older ones. Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I find it really hard to balance watching my favorites and new stuff. It's really difficult. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, today I might binge watch a load of movies I've not seen before. Tomorrow I'll binge watch like a load of my favorites. It all depends on mood, to be honest.
Yeah. Alan?
Same as Andy, really. It all depends, like, really, in that, you know, yeah. If I feel like watching a good thriller, I'll stick a thriller on. If I feel like watching a comedy, an old comedy, I'll stick an old comedy on. Yeah, it just depends, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Escape to Victory, that's the one with Michael Caine and Sylvester Stallone, isn't it?
Think so.
Pele's in it as well.
Yeah. I'm not a football fan, but I like Stallone and Caine. Is football a big part of the film or not?
Yeah. The last act is definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an alright movie.
Yeah, I keep looking at it on premium and I'm like, I kind of want to get it, but I'm just like, I'm not a football fan, so I don't want to sit there and it's all football.
But if you want a good Michael Caine movie, I recommend The Man Who Would Be King with Sean Connery.
Ooh.
It's a great film.
I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. Andy Like Stuff says, has anyone seen Cypher, an early 2000 film with Lucy Liu? For me, it's a must see. I've heard of it, but never seen it.
Same.
No.
Same.
No.
Never.
No. Comments have gone with... Dr. Impossible says, have any of you ever read about a film script that never was and thought, I'd like to see that as a film?
I can think of one right away. Frankenstein, Dracula versus the Wolfman, and going back to the Universal, the 1940s. They wrote a script where Dracula had a fight with the Wolfman, but they scrapped it. Yeah, so I would have liked to have seen that, you know, with the Lon Chaney Jr. Yeah, but it never came to fruition. So that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that Nicolas Cage Superman film that you were talking about, Andy.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
Mike?
Yeah, so the one film that comes to mind for me is Alien 3. I know that had numerous different scripts before it was eventually made, and they were very, very different from the final product. I've not read them, but I've read about them, and like what that film could have been sounded really intriguing to me, because I think like Michael Biehn was meant to be like the main hero in the film originally, and then obviously they changed it and brought Ripley back. But yeah, it's just kind of intriguing to like read about what the movie could have been.
Yeah, definitely.
I've just thought of another one, much more later. They were going to do a last Christopher Lee movie where Dracula was in India, believe it or not. Yeah. After the Satanic Rites of Dracula, when he finished that, they'd written a script where he was going to be in India, which I thought sounded pretty interesting in that. But of course, Christopher Lee, he'd hung up his cloak by then. Yeah. So it never came to fruition. But yeah, Dracula in India, imagine that. Yeah.
That would be quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
Coral says, for me, probably it's 8% older movies, 20% newer ones. Yeah. Coral says, also, get a region-free Blu-ray player. You owe it to yourself. It definitely does sound that way. Rogue says, I just bought a region-free 4K player for the new house, set to my nan's for now to save moving space. Sounds good to me. I hope you enjoy it, mate. Radley says, Cora, any brands to recommend for 4K region-free players? Have you got any recommendations for region-free players?
Not really in terms of brand.
Factory.
No.
Screen Factory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kino Lorber. Mondo Macabro. All American companies, yeah. But I'd say Screen Factory, that the main one.
Yeah. Radley says, I know 4K is region-free, but I want it all in one player. Yeah, I can understand that. I know there's been 1 or 2 4Ks that haven't been region-free, though. I think it was last year or the year before. Only just like 1 or 2, which was kind of surprising. Cora says, I have a region-free Blu-ray player Sony, and I like like Andy, a separate Sony 4K player. Sounds good to me, Cora. What brand Rogue? And thanks for the info, Cora. Cora says, if you're listening to 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, any 4K player will do. Awesome. Right, for fun challenge, Brett says, can each of you name the first horror film that comes into your head with your initial? So Pete says P, Andy says A, Alan says A, and Mike says M. Right.
Horror film beginning with A.
Alien.
Yeah,
1979. Alien.
Right, let's have a look. I've got a good one. Phantasm.
Yeah. Good one.
Oh. Sorry.
No, I was going to say for me, this is probably a little bit of a cop out, but An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, good pick, girl. Great film.
Yeah, great classic.
Yeah.
Mike?
The first one that came to mind for me was Maniac Cop.
Fun film. Oh. I watched that recently a few weeks ago. That is very, very enjoyable. I was surprised by that.
Yeah,
I love that film.
It's not too long as well. It's only about 80 minutes long, and it quickly brushes through.
Yeah.
The whole scene in the police station around about like the final half an hour, 20 minutes. Oh, that was great.
Yeah. I want to watch it now.
Rogue says LG. Radley says, yeah, I know that Coral I want for standard Blu-rays, but also play 4K in the same machine. Sounds good. Cheers, Rogue. Right. Dr. Impossible says, name me a good Costa Gavras film. For me, it's Jack Lemmon in the controversial thriller Missing. Right.
That's a great film, Missing.
Missing? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll write that down. Costa, not coffee, Gavras. Right, here we go. Let's have a look, see what's done. Let's have a look. I'm going to have to step out of this one because I haven't got a clue. I haven't seen any of them. Alan?
No. Never seen that one.
Mike?
No, I don't think I've seen any of his films.
And Andy, have you seen any?
I think I've seen a few, yeah, if these are right. I've seen Mad City and Betrayed and Music Box. They're all pretty good. But Missing's probably my favourite. I think that's a cracking film. if Google's correct, but
I know. I checked Google and it said Burke and Hare for a minute for me.
yeah,
I was like, what?
if those are right, then those films are all right. But yeah, Missing is a fantastic film.
Awesome. Cora says to Radley, I got my Sony Blu-ray player from a shop that changed the chip inside to make it region-free. I think that all that players are made region-free. Could be wrong. I think you may actually be right there, mate. They just put something in it and that makes it like region-specific.
Yeah.
Something very simple anyway. Cora says, Missing is great and indeed. Sounding really good. Right, Marvel fans talking about this. I see this announced today. Marvel fan says, is anybody getting Austin Powers trilogy, H&B exclusive Blu-ray, $29.99, but I may buy it, but I'll have to keep a lookout if H&B does a Clerks 1 to 3 Blu-ray box set. I will buy that box set instead. Yeah, it comes with like the films and it comes with a load of special features and loads of bits and pieces with it for 30 quid. Not too bad for the price. I must admit, I was kind of tempted. If it was about 20 or 25, I probably would have got it, but I'm not sure. What do you think, Andy?
I think I might pick that up, actually, you know. I actually really like the Austin Powers movies. Yeah, I think the 30 quid, I think that's what, $10 a movie and the special features. If it comes in a nice set. Yeah, I think I might pick that up, actually.
Yeah, I think they released the first one, re-released it again last year on Blu-ray, and I think that was about a tenner, so yeah, not too bad for the price. I do like the first two. I think they're the best ones, but the third one's always fun. I remember Michael Caine in that one.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I probably will pick it up. Yeah, I have a huge soft spot for those movies, and I don't think you can get the second and third on Blu-ray separately. I think you can only get the first one, if I'm right.
I think the only way we can get a triple pack is if you import it. I think there's an import somewhere because I know a few people bought that.
Yeah, so I've got them on DVD. So yeah, I probably will upgrade them because I do enjoy those movies.
And Alan, what do you think?
No, I won't be getting them. Yeah, I'll pass on them. Yeah.
Andy like stuff says, when I was younger, I used to stay up watching Barry Norman, then later Jonathan Ross. Personally, I'd rather see reviews after I've seen the film myself.
Yeah.
I tend to watch reviews before I watch films, which probably is a bad thing, especially some of them. I have read newspaper reviews of films, which is a big mistake, as they do like to spoil. They really do.
Yeah.
But I can remember watching, is it film, whatever the year with Jonathan Ross? I used to enjoy watching that. It used to be on a Saturday afternoon, I think. I used to sit and watch that a lot.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then
Sorry,
pardon?
Go on.
I think they changed. Yeah. You're okay. You're okay.
You know what I hate about, like you saying before, about giving away a lot of the story. You know what I hate? You know when you put a film on and you're trying to change the language, for instance, and you go to the menu screen, they're showing you off the bloody movie as you're trying to fiddle with the options and that. You can't blot it out either, so you have to try to lower your eyes because they show you what's going to happen in the movie. You're fiddling around with the languages and the subtitles and that. I hate that. I really hate it. You know, showing you what's going to happen in the movie. Yeah, like a collage it is, like a montage of all scenes in the movie. You're trying to fiddle around, trying to get the sound right and the language right and that. Oh, I hate that. Does me head in. Really does. Yeah.
That can definitely be annoying. I remember one I watched, put the menu on and it revealed like the final scene. I was like,
oh,
what?
You're joking.
Yeah. But I suppose with most Blu-rays now, it just shows a static image, don't it? Just say like play option and all that sort of stuff with normal films.
Yeah, but you get the one to show you off the blooming movie and that you're trying to fiddle with the options and that, you know. Oh, it's annoying, it really is.
Yeah.
And also as well, if you want to expand that to TV, you know, some of these TV shows, they say coming up, and they show you what's going to happen in the show and that, you know, by the time you're going to watch it, you know, off the bloody show, what's going to be in the show. Hate that. Really hate it. Yeah.
Or if you watch Gogglebox and they watch a film and they reveal a major plot point.
it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
What about you,
Arrow
Andy?
are a pain for that with their menu screens. They are
Yes.
absolute pain for it.
Yeah.
They just put like about 6 different scenes from the movie on. You've seen the film already.
That's
And
it.
it's just like,
Exactly.
oh,
Yeah, it does your head in.
that's the one thing I don't like about Arrow.
Yeah.
Because they play parts of the movie in the menu screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be definitely very annoying. When Alan was on about that, I was thinking about the Arrow films. I was like, they always do it.
Yeah, and I tell you who were guilty of that as well. The German Blu-rays, where I could buy a lot of movies from Amazon Germany. Yeah. And again, when you're fiddling around with the language, they show you after bloody film what's going to happen in that, in the underneath the options and that. Yeah, it's really annoying. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Sorry, I've lost track of what we were talking about.
Yeah, we're on about like Arrow video and it's like showing like all the film in the menu scene.
Yeah, it is annoying. Yeah, and just say the same as everyone else. Yeah.
I'll just quickly press the play button as soon as I can.
Yeah, same here.
Radley says, Cora, I see them on sale ready to go. Maybe the chip and just sell them. I'll just go for one of the Sonys and hope that it's not as ugly as my PS5. The PS5 certainly looks like a space age thing, though I really want one. DVD and Film Bloke says, Easy Riders crap. It's a movie made for hippies by hippies. It would only work in '69 when everyone was off their face. That actually sounds like a great way for me. I'm kind of sold already. I'm intrigued.
I hate the ending to that movie. I just hate it. It doesn't do anything else. It doesn't do justice for the rest of the movie. The way that movie ends, without spoiling it, is just, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Just from like a script perspective, it's really bad.
I did read somewhere that like Dennis Hopper was just making up the film as he was going along or something.
I don't even think Dennis Hopper was acting in that film. I think they just pressed record and let him go.
Yeah.
What that was about, but yeah.
So you weren't the biggest fan of Easy Rider, Andy?
I like the film. I appreciate the film, but it's not a movie I go back to a hell of a lot at all, to be honest. I remember having to watch it quite a bit in film school, but it was okay. I didn't mind it. I like the bits with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I've heard he's great in it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a bit of a mixture, hodgepodge to me.
Yeah. Carl says to Radley, yeah, that's how I bought mine with the chip already in. Dr. Possible says, yeah, missing is great acting tour de force from Lemon. Son goes missing in a war-torn Chile, and the American government put all the stops out to prevent the family getting to the truth. Wow, sounds incredible.
Yeah, his son is played by the guy who plays Lex Luthor in the Lois and Clark Adventures of Superman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. That does really just sound interesting. Cole says, is there any movie Alan likes?
No comments. I like as many movies as much as I hate pretty much everybody, really. We've all got our particular...
We all have our hates.
You can't like every movie, can you? Yeah. And you can't hate every movie, so...
Andy says, Easy Rider was more an impact film at the time.
Yeah. Soundtrack, like Mike was saying, soundtrack's fucking great.
Awesome. Oh, does sound... I'll have to see if I can pick up a cheap copy on Blu-ray. I may not pick up the Criterion. I know it's on normal Blu-ray, isn't it? On Sony, I think.
It's part of that Sony.
Yeah.
I think I've got like that white block there. It's a part of that.
Oh, yeah, the classic collection with like the golden thing. Yeah. Oh, I'll keep an eye out. Hopefully get it quite cheap like that. And Edward says, what's your favourite Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie and why? GoldenEye. Brilliant film. great cast, always going. Great villains, brilliant theme song, and honestly, Pierce Brosnan knocked it out the park straight away as Bond. Andy?
Yeah, I'd have to say Goldeneye, but I've got a huge soft spot for Tomorrow Never Dies. I like that film; it makes me chuckle. But Goldeneye that is just prime Brosnan Bond. But yeah, I just love that film. But probably outside of James Bond, favorite Pierce Brosnan movie is probably Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's a good pick, yeah. Because that is actually the next question as well. Favorite Pierce Brosnan movie?
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire for me.
Awesome. So, Mike, what's your favorite Pierce Brosnan Bond film and his own film?
Again, like you guys, Goldeneye. It's the only Pierce Brosnan Bond movie I like, to be honest. I think his others, I think they kind of decrease in quality for me. And also, I played the game when I was a kid, and I just have a lot of nostalgia tied to that game. And when I watch the movie, I think about the game as well. Favorite Pierce Brosnan movie? Mrs. Doubtfire's up there. I really like The Foreigner with Jackie Chan. He's really good in that.
That was a nice surprise. That was. I think that was a Netflix film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that one. Alan?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't really seen a Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie right through. I've only seen clips of them. But while we're on the subject of Bond, I only really like Roger Moore and Sean Connery. I don't really after that. I don't really watch any of the other Bonds. So Sean Connery and Roger Moore, the only Bonds I've watched right through. So yeah.
So what's your favourite Bond film out of them ones?
Well, I would say Roger Moore's. I'd say The Man with the Golden Gun. Love that one. Yeah. And Sean Connery, pretty much like them all, except that last one. Was it Never Say Never? Never Say Never again.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that one, but I like Goldfinger or Thunderball and that, but I wasn't too keen on that one. Never Say Never again. Diamonds Are Forever was all right. Yeah, but I'm not really a big Bond fan, to be honest. They're the only two I like as James Bond. Yeah, so
yeah. Oh, that's all right. You haven't got any favourite Pierce Brosnan films in general? Haven't seen any of them?
I do remember him. First time I heard the name Pierce Brosnan was in Remington Steele, that series where he was in with the girl, the dark girl. I can't remember. And what was that? Stephanie Zimblast. Yeah, that's where I first saw Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, but after that, I haven't really got a favourite Pierce Brosnan film, to be honest with you. So yeah, he's a good actor though. He's a very good actor. But as I say, I haven't really got a favourite one. Yeah.
For me, favourite Pierce Brosnan movie. Is it a bit cheeky to say Long Good Friday? He's in that, isn't he?
Was he?
I don't think he has any lines in that. I think he has any dialogue at all.
He just pops up a couple of times, and that's about it. But he's all right in that, I suppose. But one I did enjoy him in was a film with Owen Wilson, and that's No Escape. I thoroughly enjoyed that film. That's a great film.
Yeah.
DVD and Film Bloke says, I didn't like Alien. I thought all the characters were idiots except Ripley, but even she was wasted.
Fair enough, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, bold statement. Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, well, we all like different things, but yeah, cool. Cora says, to Dr. Impossible, the Indicator release has some great information extras, saw a few months ago. Awesome. DVD and Film Bloke says he also doesn't like the Shawshank Redemption. I just didn't like the nostalgic look on prison life, and it felt a bit too nice for a prison film.
I don't know. There's some scenes at the beginning when he first goes to prison that are horrific.
Yeah,
like the gang that are constantly harassing him.
I wouldn't say it's a happy film. No, it's just very good.
The guy who's crying for his mum.
Yeah.
That's fucking brutal. There's nothing sugarcoated about
that.
Yeah. Marvel fan says Andy likes stuff. Same. I watched Mark Kermode's review for Licorice Pizza. He enjoyed it. I watched it because Mike and Andy recommended it, so I went in blind, not knowing the story, but I enjoyed the movie. Awesome to hear it.
Cool. I like Licorice Pizza.
Mark Mo's definitely a very interesting reviewer. Some of his reviews
Yeah.
I completely disagree on, especially Ghostbusters Afterlife. Well,
Yeah.
Rogue Review says, my local Hamm Foods closed 2 years ago after only being open for 1 year, so no cheap ice cream for me. Wow. My Hamm Foods has been open for about 3 or 4 years, and it's the only food shop we got in the town, so if they close, we will be buggered. Dr. Impossible says, that's one I've got the indicated release. Universal weren't too keen on releasing Missing, especially its foreign policy in Chile. Lemon was great in Save the Tiger 2, Coral.
He won his Oscar for that, Jack Lemmon. Save the
Did he?
Tiger. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've heard of it before, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. He's great in Glengarry Glen Ross. I love that film.
Again, the title rings a bell, but unfortunately I haven't seen it. DVD and film box says, I don't even like chocolate ice cream. I enjoy a fair few flavours, and now I like coffee ice cream. Coffee cake. Now that is delicious.
Not for me, coffee.
No,
No,
I do
can't
agree.
stand it.
Coffee ice cream, yuck. But coffee cake for me, I could eat the whole lot. I do like mint ice cream, mint Viennettas. Oh, they're lovely. Now I want Viennetta. Carl says, Dr. Impossible, we'll look up at that one, thanks. Saw him a day earlier in the China Syndrome by coincidence. So, Dr. Impossible says, paint your wagon. What's wrong with Lee Marvin's singing talents? I was born under a wandering star. Oh no.
That's the only good thing about it. I was born under a wandering I was born under a wandering star. The rest is, oh man. You know, awful.
It's such a long movie as well. It's like 3 hours long.
Oh god,
Yeah.
Half an hour
it
is too
is.
long.
Oh. Carl says, Dr. Impossible, by the way, what are you stuffing down your gob at the moment? Knowing you're always eating something during these live streams, to Dr. Impossible. DVD from Filmbook says, going to paint your wagon, going to paint it fine, going to use all base paint because the wood is pine.
And what about Clint Eastwood? I talk to the trees, but they don't listen to me. I think that was the only song he sang in it, wasn't it? I talk to the trees, yeah. Oh, awful movie.
Yeah.
Awful movie, yeah. Even my mum hated it when she went to see the cinema. God, what about Just Watched, you know? Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to write a book about the 50 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. So I'll have to get me, I'll have to start doing my list.
Oh,
yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah.
DVD from Funblock says the Speed on a Milk Flow episode of Father Ted will never not be funny. Oh,
yeah,
iconic episode, so much fun. Now I want to go on to More 4 tonight and see if there's an episode of Father Ted on, because it's always on More 4. Marvel fan says, I tried Ben & Jerry's ice cream with potato swirls. It was a mixture of chocolate ice cream and Pringles. Chocolate ice cream and Pringles? I did enjoy it at first, but then I hate it, but I think it's been discontinued now. Chocolate ice cream and Pringles? That sounds disgusting. I just like the bits with the plain ice cream, bit of caramel and cookie dough. That's me sorted. I know there's one called fish and chips or something with little chocolate fish in, but there's some many different flavors of Ben and Jerry's, and I cannot believe we're talking about it on a movie stream. Oh. Brett says, I wonder why pound for pound the smaller costs more. Example, Highland Water 1.5 litre bottle costs 60p, but 500 milliliter 3 times smaller costs 80p. It's because it's convenience. If you're on the run, mate, and you want a small bottle of water, they're going to charge you more for it. If you buy one of these, that's obviously not going to be very convenient, so they charge you less. And plus, most of the time, they're always in the chiller cabinet, so they're always going to be cool. So that's another thing. Dr. Impossible says, rest assured, it's brilliant. Save the Tiger. China Syndrome was brilliant too, but I do like Billy Wilder and Lemon in The Apartment. Ah.
What about Some Like It's Hot? Do you like that?
Some Like It Hot.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
great
Classic.
movie that.
Great
Yeah,
film.
classic.
Some Like It's Hot.
Getting some good films tonight recommended that have been added to the list. Rogue says Target is on the H&B Premium Collection. Is that the one with Gene Hackman in?
Yeah, that's not. It's not the one with what I was on about before. It's a different one.
Right.
The one I'm on about is called It's called Targets with an S.
Yeah, plural. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. That movie never ever gets talked about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Boris Karloff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a really cool premise. It's like Boris Karloff pretty much plays Boris Karloff in the movie.
Yeah.
He's like this actor who's like he's like coming towards the end of his career and he's doing like one last movie.
Yeah.
And it's getting shown at this drive-in theater. But there's a subplot going on where this guy's got PTSD and he goes around killing everyone.
That's right. Yeah. It's good film.
He goes around killing as many people as he can find and see. He like kills his whole family as well. And then it all comes to a head at this drive-in theater because he's like on the run, and it's such a good movie.
Good movie, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, you've sold me. I'm definitely looking out for that one, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Right. Marvel fan says, "Walk can always believe it shows that people are getting ripped off when they buy smaller bottles, but bargain for big bottles." Yeah. It's all to do with convenience. Like you go into like a smaller shop, you do like a Tesco Express. It's going to be more expensive because it's convenient. That's the end of business hour. Back to movies. Cora says, you have Arrow Films 4K remaster of The Apartment. Ooh. Dr. Impossible says yes, Cora. Dr. Impossible says Target's quite a decent little thriller from 85 for Pac-Man. Yeah, I've got that on the premiums. That looks good. Matt Dillon as well is in it, I think.
I've got that one, but I've not watched it yet. Target.
Cora says, good. Save the Target is being released by Imprint next month. Only 35 Australian dollars. Wow. Just got to wait for these to go past. My word, they are busy tonight. The sex pests are. Wow. Get it, Cora on DVD from the UK. Cora should be cheaper than Going Down Under. Andy says, Oliver Stone's The Doors for me is the best of the band's biopics. I still need to see that. That's with Val Kilmer, isn't it?
Yeah. Jim Morrison.
Oh, brilliant. I have seen it in H&B going for like about 15 quid on 4K, and I'm like, it comes with the Blu-ray. I'm tempted, but I probably will give it a go. Cora says the DVD is unfortunately almost £20. Wow. That is way too much for a DVD. Marvel fan says, I heard there was a post-credit scene in Rocketman with Rami Malek's Freddie Mercury, but didn't make it in the final cut. Wow. Never knew that. Cora says the iTunes release is only $5.99 for Save the Tiger. Pretty decent saving. Walk On Always Believe says, can you think of anything you'd like to see a biopic of? I'd love to see a biopic of Barbara Streisand, The Seekers, and Christopher Lee. Some great picks there, Brett.
Yeah.
Oh. Want to go first, Andy?
Yeah, just like I think I'd like to see like I can picture people getting sick of it if it happened, but pretty much just like biopics of just like bands and rock stars. Like there's just so many you could do, like U2, George Michael, Boy George. There's just so many like people you could do I know it never happened, but the Dave Bowie as well, because that would be for one. I think a lot of people would be dying to see.
Yeah, I agree there. That'd be a great one. Mike?
Yeah, same really. Just different bands, different artists. I'd like to see one like on ABBA. I'd like to see one on. I'd like to see one on like the Beatles, like when they were, when they were a band, like that sort of that 10-year period. But then at the same time, there's just so much to fit into like one movie that it probably couldn't be done justice. But
yeah, I agree. Alan?
Definitely ABBA, yeah. And also being a huge glam rock fan of the 70s, I'd like to see a biopic of Slade, because I absolutely love Slade, Come On Feel the Noise and all them. Yeah. So ABBA, Slade, they'd be the two main ones in terms of musical. But going into movies, I'd like to see one of, obviously Christopher Lee. I'd like to see a good one about Boris Karloff, a really good biopic of him. Lon Chaney Jr., like to see a good biopic of him. I know they made one of his dad, didn't he? A Man of a Thousand Faces with James Cagney. They made one of his dad. Right. I'd like to see one of him as well. Yeah. So, when you think about it, like there's loads, like, you just go on, can't you? Clint Eastwood, Peter Lorre, just go on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's a lot of actors and singers that you could do. It's a never-ending list, to be fair. I know I've said it a lot. I'd love to see a Blondie one with Margot Robbie as Debbie Harry.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one of T-Rex. I think that would be really good.
Mark Bolan, that's another group. Yeah.
Yes,
definitely.
And I think a Michael Caine one would be quite good as well.
Michael Caine. Yeah.
Marvel fan says sorry that she didn't make the final cut. Yeah. Dr. Impossible says, must be out of print now on Paramount, you'll be waiting forever. Paramount seems to have a thing about Australia, but not the UK with back catalogue titles. Paramount also has a thing about releasing 4Ks without Blu-rays and re-releasing Star Trek films at extortionate prices. New releases on 4K, that £60 box set is way too expensive for one film, even if it is several cuts.
Yeah.
Brett says, I'd like to see a Betty Davis biopic too. Yeah. I've just got the song Betty Davis always playing in my head now. Carl says, I'll get the iTunes release. Dr. Impossible says, Paramount signed a deal with Kino a month ago, so maybe it might resurface in 6 years' time. Maybe. Or they put it on Paramount Plus now and then. Edward says, rank every Piers Bronson Bond movie.
It's probably the order of release for me. GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, World's Not Enough, Die Another Day. Best to worst.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Alan, you haven't seen him, have you?
No, so I can't comment.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, order of release. So I do have to admit, I do really like The World Is Not Enough. I do like them 3 films. But Die Another Day, rewatched that the other week. Oh my days, that was dreadful. That was
I don't actually think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Like, there is some awful stuff in there, but I do think there is some good stuff in there. I think the start of it's great.
Oh, the start of it's
probably
great, the best thing about it. Yeah. I must admit, I don't mind Halle Berry in it. I think she's pretty good in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad put it on TV the other week at Soundwatch. I was like, oh no, not for me. Invisible Cars, please, no, too much. Andy Like Stuff says, have any of you seen the Underworld films? Watched Evolution, the second one, last week for me. It's underrated stunt work with the car chase and Marcus as a bat on another level. That's the Kate Beckinsale one, isn't it? Underworld. I like him because of Kate Beckinsale. That's it. They're very similar to the Resident Evil films for me. They're very sort of not the greatest films, but they're entertaining for what they are. I don't mind them. What do you think, Andy?
The Underworld films kind of define the word mediocre to me. I just think they're so run of the mill average. To be honest, I don't get much from them at all.
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
I can understand that. Mike?
No, I've not seen any of them. I've got one of them on DVD, but I don't know which one it is. It's not the first one. It's either like the second or the third one. But obviously, I'm not going to watch it until I watch the first one. But I do like Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Obvious reasons in that film as well. Yep, of course. What about you, Alan?
Never seen him, so I can't comment. So yeah. I'm going to call it a night now, Peace. Thanks very much for having me on. I'm going to get downstairs and get some supper. Yeah, thanks
no
very
worries,
much.
mate.
Really enjoyed it. And
mate.
a couple of weeks' time, you can come on my channel if you like. I need the two guys if you want to come on as well. You're quite welcome to.
Oh, cheers, Alan.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it anyway. It's been some good subjects tonight and that. And thanks for having me along anyway. So I'm just going to go downstairs and grab some supper then.
Don't worry, mate.
Nice. Yeah. Well, thanks again very much. Really appreciated it. And see you now.
Alan.
Take care, Alan.
Bye.
Bye.
That was great to have Alan on. And don't forget, tomorrow night he's going live at 7:30 on his channel, so be sure to tune in. I'm sure it'll be a great time. But yeah, that was great to speak to Alan tonight. We've still got a few more comments, so we'll just get through them. Rogue Review says, just look in your local BHF home store. I'll volunteer in one of them, and a load of bookshelves are donated. Yeah, you definitely do find them. Dr. Impossible could never get into Dog Soldiers. Tried when the film came out on VHS and the DVD, but never got far with it. It definitely does seem to be a film that seems to be split people. Some people either love it, and a lot of people are just like, that's fine.
See, the opening to it is great.
The
opening's really like quite dark. The way the direction it takes. Where he asks him to do something. I could never do that.
No.
I think the scene. It's the scene with the dog that cracks me up. You know, with don't really want to spoil it, but like with the intestines, let's say.
Yeah.
The whole scene just cracks me up.
I know. Road Review says some of the bookshelves donated through someone donated one for the house collection. It was covered in mold. We had to scrap it. Lovely. Rogue says some Criterions in there have gone out of print, such as Nashville.
Okay. Yeah, that's the Robert Altman film.
Oh. Edward says, would you like to see Mark Hamill in Doctor Who? It'd be great, but I don't think he would.
Why not?
I'd watch Mark Hamill in anything.
Can we have Mark Hamill as the next Doctor instead, please, BBC?
I think I'd probably watch Doctor Who if he was the new Doctor.
Yeah. I'd make for a great series, I must admit. Rogue says, The Social Network is one of the most boringest films I've ever seen. Don't get the praise for it. Yeah, I get that. It won loads of awards, didn't it?
Yeah, I just don't care enough about Facebook for it to warrant a movie about its creation.
No.
I just don't care.
And plus, it came out not that long after Facebook got really big, did it? It was like in 2010, wasn't it?
2010. Yeah.
It was like very soon after it hit the big time. It's like, yeah, we don't need one just yet. Marvel fan says Uncle Albert will say during the war, and everything is like that is again in his war stories. Yeah, that was a terrible during the war. Rogue says Arrow is supposed to be doing a fistful of fingers. Edgar Wright's first feature.
Okay,
that's interesting. I approve of that.
I'd pick that up if they do that.
Yeah, same here. Dr. Impossible says, had to watch Phantom of Paradise after you talked about the film with Terrence. Jesus, it's on par with Rocky Horror for sure. I hadn't seen it in over a decade and a half.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dr. Impossible, on the rewatch, because I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's still available quite widely on Arrow, because I see it in my local H&V. I was going to get it on Saturday, but they put all the prices up, so I'll leave it till October.
I might
good.
upgrade it to Blu-ray actually, because I think I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
Rogue says it looks like it's going out of print soon.
Yeah, definitely pick it up then.
Yeah, definitely will. I still seem to find some copies about. There's still one in my local H&V. I say that, and then when the RSL comes on, some bugger will buy it. I don't know. Rogue Review says, what about the video game death with the really shit one-liners such as this game is really realistic graphics in the final nightmare? Oh yeah, Freddy's dead. Yes. Fuck.
That's just one of the many like what the fuck moments in that movie.
I still don't get how they went from Nightmare on Elm Street and they come up with that. It's just like, how did that series evolve from that?
Do you know what really baffles me about that movie is it's called Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, and I just can't believe that the producers of that movie, like when it was all finished, they looked at that movie and said, "Oh yeah, this is a great way to end the franchise." I just can't fathom how they thought that.
It just feels like they just want to get it out and just be done with it from the sounds of it. Or unless they were all drunk and high on drugs and like, best film ever, gonna win us this. Yeah. Dr. Impossible says, very true, Andy. Lee and Jackson never made up for it. That's for sure. Oh,
it's a shame that.
Definitely is. Rogue Review says, Spider Baby is in the pilot for Father Ted. Probably haven't seen the pilot episode. DVD for Film Book says, always older films on Blu-ray. There are very few modern films that interest me. Yeah, I can get that. Bumps Movie said, Peter Jackson wrote a script for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Bummer that didn't get made.
Oh, wow.
That would have been amazing.
I think it was meant to be about teenagers that like purposely made themselves go to sleep so they could go into the dreams and beat Freddy up because he's like gotten older and he'd lost his dream powers, so he was all weak. So they used to just for a high, they just go into the dream world and just tease him and beat him up. Sounded like a really wacky concept.
That certainly sounds way better than Freddy's Dead, I must admit. Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't brought back Nightmare on Elm Street. I know they've brought back other big franchises. I keep saying about it, but it'd be nice if they could bring it back respectfully, unlike the remake, because I've heard the remake isn't good at all.
Yeah, it's just so forgettable, that movie. As soon as I watched it, I just completely forgot anything that happened in it.
Yeah. Dr. Impossible says to keep a Paramount film. Has Arrow got license for Paramount titles? If not, they will never will. Imprint probably, or maybe Indicator, who still holds a license for Paramount titles.
Okay.
Rogue says Peter Jackson was meant to write and direct A Nightmare on Elm Street 6, but he was scrapped and the script was replaced with Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Oh, wow. What were they thinking?
What could have been?
Yeah. Oh, dear. I have the old Panther DVD release of the first Austin Powers and the last two on the old Entertainment and Video DVDs. They're fine for me, so I might not bother with the Blu-rays. That's fair it is. I haven't got them all, but I must admit that Blu-ray set does look quite nice. The artwork's really nice on it as well.
It is, yeah. It does look quite a nice set.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it out. See what it looks
I
like.
know the Bill and Ted set, that got quite rare and all, didn't it? And that was about 30 quid, and you didn't get any extra bits with that. So yeah, I might have to keep an eye out there. I think it comes out next month, don't it? In October.
Yeah, 31st of October, I think.
Oh, wow. Might have to get that. Dr. Impossible says, just thinking, Mike, The Keep did get an Australian DVD release a few years back. Paramount haven't really been that bothered about the film. Sadly, a lot of Paramount licenses in the Australias.
Yeah, that's the version I've got.
DVD from Film Bloke says, I wish Harold went back to what they did on the old DVD menus where it would cut to one picture when you click on an option, while the two I have, Fritz the Cats and Meet the Feebles. Also, Fritz the Cat and Meet the Feebles DVDs have their own custom warning screens, even if Meet the Feebles one is horrific. I imagine it would be. The Grim Yeeper says Timothy Dalton is the only Bond. He's a very good Bond, and I know you guys love him.
He's my favourite. Yeah.
But he is fantastic in License to Kill. That is a superb film.
Yeah, I love that film.
DVD from Film Bloke also agrees. Dr. Impossible says, I wish Kevin Francis, son of Freddie Francis, would get his act together and release the time-burned Batcat. Kevin Francis has been asking too much for these films, and I'm very much doubt they will surface. The Grim Yeeper says, the China Syndrome is intense. Sounds cool. The Fever Drew says, what's your thoughts on the Expendables trilogy and Jingle All the Way starring Arnold Schwarzenegger? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Sure. I think the Expendables trilogy is okay. I think it's they're enjoyable movies. They're not the best. All right. Jingle All the Way is one of the best Christmas movies ever. I love that film. So yeah, just so much fun. I've got me Turbo Man up there. But yeah, I just I love Jingle All the Way. It's not Christmas without that movie.
That Turbo Man figure, I've seen that in the Entertainer. They've had it in Entertainer quite recently, like for 25 quid. I was like, oh, that's quite tempting.
Oh.
Nice figure.
Yeah, I've not opened mine. I want to sort of keep it in box.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I would do as well.
Yeah.
Does it talk, or is it just a standard figure?
I think it talks. It's got like lights and sounds on it and everything. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you for the Expendables and Jingle All the Way?
Yeah, I think the Expendables is okay. I think the first one, it's all right, but I think it's a bit too serious. But my favorite one's the second one because it's just a lot more lighthearted and fun, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. The third one is not that good, to be in my opinion. Jingle All the Way, yeah, I love it. I mean, is it a great movie? Probably not, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah. The Expendables trilogy is just a fine trilogy, I suppose. It's kind of forgettable. I mean, there's a great cast to it, but the cast is the main thing, but the films are rather forgettable. Jingle All the Way, great film. Always watch it at Christmas. Arnie's great in it. Just a lot of fun. Dr. Impossible says, if you don't like Easy Rider, then watch The Antidote, Electric Glide in Blue, and see the alternative. That is one hell of a film with a great soundtrack. Have you heard of that one?
Antidote, no. Oh, the Electric Glide in Blue. No.
No, never heard of it. Edward says, can't believe it's the 25th anniversary of Austin Powers. What's your favourite Austin Powers movie? Probably the first one, I think. Liz Hurley's in that one. Yeah, I like Liz Hurley.
She's in the second one as well, very briefly.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I think mine's probably the second. I have a lot of fun with that film.
I do like the title, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Mike, what about you?
I think growing up, it was always the second one, but as I've gotten older, I think it's the first one now. I forgot just how many funny moments there are in that movie. I remember there's one scene where like Dr. Evil and Scott are like this meeting. It's like an A&A meeting or something, or yeah, I don't know. It's just moments like that that are just really funny.
Oh, they're a great franchise and definitely good. I think that is definitely well worth picking up when it comes out next week. Next month. Dr. Impossible says, watch Pierce Bronson, John McTiernan directed supernatural film from '86, Nomads. Crazy film. Oh.
I've heard about that one.
Yeah, it kind of rings a
Nomads.
bell for me, but I haven't seen it yet. We've got Alexander Wayne here saying, where do you guys stand on old school kung fu movies? I just found my new second favourite, Shaolin Mantis.
Okay.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a genre that I'm still kind of discovering. I think for me, like a lot of the kung fu stuff I like is some of the early Jackie Chan stuff, Sammo Hung. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm trying to discover. I really like Drunken Master. That's probably my favorite kung fu movie.
That's a good one. Yeah. What about you, Andy?
Sadly, kung fu movies is probably like my weakest genre. I'd love to get into it, but I don't know if it's like if I'm put off by the fact that I think there's too many. So I don't really know where to start. But yeah, it's not it's unknown ground for me that I'd be treading on. Well,
yeah. I agree with you. There's some great films out. I've seen a lot of Jackie Chan ones. They're a lot of fun, but there's so many different ones out there, so many different franchises and other films. But I want to get into them more.
Yeah, like there's some, like, obviously there's classic Jackie Chan movies I like Police Story and Dragons Forever. They're a lot of fun. But like the proper old school kung fu ones, it's really unfamiliar with. I mean, the only one I can really think of is the really famous one, probably Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, the same here.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got the Grim Yeeper here saying, Boy George chaining up that Norwegian bloke in a radiator would be a cool scene. Oh, yes.
I remember when he did that.
Yeah, I can remember, yeah. Marvel fan says, worst Ben and Jerry's flavours I hate is gingerbread, the other is chunky money with banana ice cream and chocolate bananas with walnuts. Blah, bananas, blah, chocolate. Does not sound very nice.
I think banana's a very, very underrated flavour on its own.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's used to do a flavour called Satisfy My Bowl. It was really nice. Really nice flavour. Not the best name, but it was really nice.
But their names for their ice creams are probably the best thing about it. For me, though, I can have a banana on its own. I do like Saurine banana loaf bread, but the one thing I can't stand is banana milkshake. Yuck. No.
I don't mind banana milkshake.
The
McDonald's one's quite nice.
Oh, McDonald's one. No. No.
I'm not a fan of it.
I prefer the strawberry one and the vanilla one. The McDonald's one always just reminded me of just ice cream. It did, the vanilla one, but I haven't had one in ages. Surf says, sorry, I've not been around. I've been video planning. Hope you guys are well. Hey, so that's good to hear you bringing back the videos. Look forward to watching them, Soph. We've got Ian Hill, the Ramblings here. It's time. The Man Who Fell to Earth was given a 4K release. Yet another brilliant Nicholas Roeg film. Bowie is a legend, a proper artist. Yes, that would be a great 4K release.
I wasn't a fan of that movie. Couldn't really watch it.
It's an odd one. It is.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while, but like it's Bowie in it, so that's why I enjoyed it. But it is an odd one. Marvel fan says, but I really like Tom and Jerry's. Tom and Jerry's, Ben and Jerry's Netflix and chilled with peanut butter ice cream with sweet and salty pretzel swirls and brownie pieces. Wow, that sounds like a mouthful. And that ice cream. Wow. The Grim Yeeper says, did any of you get to check out Cat People on 4K? I want to buy it, but I already have the old Blu-ray. I haven't seen it on 4K.
Did it get released here? I thought it was just like an American release.
I think it's the Scream Factory.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I wondered. I haven't seen no reviews or release of it anywhere.
I've seen the film. It's a pretty decent film.
Oh,
The Malcolm McDowell one.
oh, Malcolm McDowell's in it.
Yeah,
I know there's one I want to get. I'm sure they've still got it in my HMV, but in online is that Time After Time?
Oh, so good, that film.
Yeah.
It's on the premium, and I swear they've still got it in my HMV, and I'm tempted to pick it up. I read a bit about it, and it does sound really good.
If it's on the 2 for 15, definitely pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No brainer.
I checked on eBay, and people are charging 30 quid for it, so I'm like, oh, you got it in. And I was at Norwich last week, and they had a whole stack of them, and I never bothered. And then I read up the description when I got home, and I was like, oh, damn, I wish I got it. Seb says, Mike, I had messaged you about a collab idea.
Yep, just seeing that, so message back.
And Seth says, hey, Marvel fan. Dr. Impossible says, well, my comments have gone all weird. Just finished a pack of almond slices. Just don't tell the wife, Cora. Divorced tomorrow. Dr. Impossible says, Andy Targets isn't coming out on the BFI. Paramount withdrew it. That's a shame.
That is a shame. But yeah, I'd love there to be a Blu-ray release of that film.
Dr. Impossible says, could be a future imprint release, though. Better move to Australia. Seems weird that Paramount is just with imprint and not going to release them elsewhere in the world. Missing out on loads of money there. DVD and Phone Bloke said a Twitter movie would be awesome, though.
Okay.
Well, I suppose tweet the story of Twitter coming to cinemas in 2027. Nah.
You like the Emoji Movie?
Oh. Oh. The Grim Reaper says, yes, Social Network was so cringe. The movie wanted added friends and hidden likes to be so dramatic. Yeah. Andy says, Brosnan was a caricature of James Bond. Caricature. Alexander Wayne says, Dog Soldiers is a near perfect. It's a film that got me into British films. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah. Glad you got that enjoyment out of it. Yeah.
Seb says, I love Dog Soldiers. Spoonie is my favourite. Obs loves Sean Pertwee for reasons. Ian Hill, the Ramblin' says, I love sci-fi, but why is 2001 given such praise? I've tried over the years, but still find it boring. Kubrick is a great director, but this I've given up with. That's a shame, because Alan was very much the same. He wasn't a big fan of it. But I haven't seen it. But I have heard people have been like mixed between it. Some people really enjoy it, and some people do say it can go on for quite long and not a lot happens. What do you guys think of 2001?
I didn't really like it the first time I saw it. I did actually kind of think it was boring and a bit pretentious. But for some reason with me, I can watch people's reviews of other movies and it can kind of make me want to go back to the movie and kind of sort of make me watch it in a different light. And I watched. There's an American guy called Scott Mance, and I watched a review of him talking about 2001 with Chris Stuckman, and it made me want to go back and rewatch the film. It made me think, am I missing something? Am I not quite getting something? And I rewatched the film, and it was like watching it for the first time again under a completely different light. And I kind of got some of the themes that movie was trying to get across. And I had a great time with it. So it was fantastic. Yeah. It's not a movie I'll go back and rewatch over and over and over again. I just appreciated it on a whole different level.
Oh, I have got it, so I'll have to give it a watch, but I'll go in with an open mind. But what did you think of it, Mike?
Yeah, I love it. It's in my probably my top 5 movies of all time. It's just, I don't know, I can't get enough of it, really. It's from a visual point of view, it's just incredible. I can understand people who don't like it because, yeah, it's not. It's like marketed as a sci-fi movie, but it's not like a typical sci-fi movie. Don't go into it expecting like Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that. It's more of like a visual movie. There's hardly any dialogue in it. It's just all about the music and the visuals. But it's just like the last half hour of that movie. I can't even explain it, but it's just so stunning, and it gives me chills every time. I just love it.
Oh, wow. That sounds good. Edward says, no date yet, but apparently A Fistful of Fingers is definitely getting an arrow. Awesome. Rogue Review says, Edgar Wright recorded a commentary for A Fistful of Fingers with Arrow 2 years ago. Ooh.
Oh, well.
I know it's definitely a too big of a release for Arrow, but what happened if they did the Cornetto trilogy on Arrow?
Yeah, I think it would be too big.
Yeah.
I could, well, not like now, but like in about 10 years' time, I could see probably something like Last Night in Soho probably ended up on Arrow because it hasn't been a big success compared to his other films.
Yeah.
David Beach says, Pinocchio 2022 live action film. I look forward to it. Looks very good. Hope you guys are all doing good. Andy, have you picked up Star Trek on 4K yet? We did talk about Pinocchio earlier on. Intrigued by it, seeing what they're going to do. Probably will give it a watch. Did you get Star Trek on 4K, guys?
No, I'm just sticking with the Blu-rays for me. That's I've got with it. They haven't released the last 4, have they? It's only the first 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm just sticking with that Blu-ray box that I've got with the 10 movies in it.
Yeah, that sounds like a better deal. I've also heard that those Star Trek films that they've released this week, they're apparently going to do steelbooks of them early next year as well. So it does feel like a bit of a money-getting game with Paramount. Because isn't the other 4 films the Next Generation one?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen them ones. I think I've only ever seen the first Star Trek film. I thought it was all right, but it was a bit not as good as I thought it would be. But I know the other ones are great, like Khan, the 4th one, and the 6th one.
Yeah, it's kind of like the odd ones are the weaker ones, and the even ones are the better ones.
I'll have to pick up the Blu-ray box set sometime. I'll see if I can find the box set of 6 pretty cheap.
Yeah. But I enjoy all 10 of them. I get enjoyment out of all of them. Yeah.
That's good. DVD Bloke says Peter Jackson's Elm Street script sounds great. I can imagine it being on par with Bad Taste and Brain Dead. Alexander Wayne says, thank you. 2001 is my most disliked film of all time. 2 out of 10. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
David Beach says, do you think Lord of the Rings TV show will be any good? I don't really have much interest in it, but Amazon thinks it's good. They keep telling us it's good.
I've heard it's good, but I've just
Yeah.
got no interest.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not that bothered. I'd rather watch films again, to be fair. Andy says Black Forest Stout beer is a killer. Oh, okay, I'll write that down. David says, do you think Matilda the musical will be any good movie? This is the one that's coming to Netflix, isn't it? With Emma Thompson as Miss Trunchbull.
You just can't beat that original with Danny DeVito. Like that movie is just so funny, and I just don't think it could be topped.
Yeah. I'm not that bothered about it. I mean, is it Tim Minchin directing it? Because didn't he do the stage play stuff?
I've got a clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not that bothered about this new one. Coming to Netflix, I'm assuming, is it?
I saw a trailer for it in the cinema last time I went, but that was the first time I heard about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must be coming to cinemas then. Oh, that's quite interesting. But yeah, I do agree with Mike that Danny DeVito one. Fantastic.
Oh yeah,
fantastic childhood film.
yeah. He's just great in that film.
Oh,
yeah.
Pam Ferris as Miss Trunchbull. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Talking about the Chucky of dear. No.
Yeah. It's the scene with the chocolate cake for me.
Oh yeah.
Sit down, Bog.
And just when he's got his hat glued to his head, it's just comedy gold.
Dr. Impossible says Path of Glory is the only Kubrick film I can fully enjoy. Maybe Spartacus and Linden for John Alcott's cinematography.
Wow.
That's another one I
really
need
good.
to watch. Barry Lyndon, yeah, I got that on the premium, so look forward to watching that one. I keep meaning to, but it's like about 3 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah. Marvel fan says Thor: Love and Thunder tomorrow, Cobra Kai season 5 on Friday. Wow, really? They only just started season 4, like start of the year. As well as the Disney 23 Expo. More Marvel reveals in next week. Clerks is released, but it seems to be a limited cinema release in the UK. Oh. I haven't seen Cobra Kai. I don't think any of us has seen it, have we?
No, I'm sorry to say. I've heard wonderful things about it, but I'm just not that big of a fan of the Karate Kid to be interested to check it out.
Same here. Clerks. Anybody interested in Clerks 3?
I like the first movie. I think the second one's all right, so I'll probably check the third one out.
Yeah, hopefully it'll get a decent cinema release. I have seen the first one. The first one's in black and white, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one, but I haven't seen the second one. But yeah, I'd see a trailer for this one. It looks good. Probably will give it a go if it hits streaming. Coral's back. Awesome. Surf says, Andy, if you do upgrade your Phantom of Paradise, I would love to buy the DVD from you.
I've just if I do upgrade it, I'll just send it to you. Just to pay me.
Surf says, hey Coral. Dr. Impossible says, finish my second pack of almond slices, Coral. Now on a sugar rush and heading to the nearest NHS for a blood sugar test. You sound as bad as my dad when he gets hold of the cheddars. He's already ate about 8 packets tonight since he come home, and half a pizza, and 2 tins of beans, and 3 muffins. And that's a snack. Coral says, Soph, where the fuck have you been? Crying in a corner. Edward says, what's your favourite Jessica Alba film? I'm only thinking of Fantastic Four, to be fair.
Sin City, that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was in Sin City. What about you, Mike? Anything?
I can't really think of any like noteworthy films that she's been in apart from like Sin City and Fantastic Four. Yeah, just have to say those two.
Yeah.
I remember she
That
was in
awful
a
one, The
TV.
Love Guru.
Oh, is that the one with Mike Myers?
Mike Myers, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can remember that one.
Yeah, she was in a film called Idle Hands. It's like a horror comedy. That's all right.
Seth Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Machete. She was in that.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so I say Machete, but I also liked her. She was also in a TV series called Dark Angel. It wasn't too bad. And I can remember her in a like a dancing film. I think it was like a sort of street dance film called Honey. I can remember that one and didn't mind that one. I didn't mind that one, but that's all I can remember. Cora says, "Ooh, almond slices sounds nice too. Sugary for me, as he's diabetic. A sugar test is probably good right now." Whoa, I hope not. Alexander says, Drunken Master is a masterpiece. Sub says, no, Carl, we're very happy celebrating 1 year together next month, just getting stressed about family stuff. Dr. Impossible says, yes, been for another bottle of my favourite drink, Southern Comfort. No good, I blame fate. Southern Comfort sounds like a TV show, to be fair. Cora says, glad to hear that. Congratulations to the both of you. Absolutely. Congratulations to the pair of you, Soph and Jason. Soph says, Pete, get in the fucking bin, you stag. Wimpy banana milkshake is banging. Not a banana milkshake person. All chocolate milkshake. Yuck. Not for me. Cora says, Southern Comfort, a soda drink. Dr. Impossible says these streams are nice and long so I can drink at leisure. It's an alcoholic beverage. Ooh. Marvel fan, sorry, typo, I meant Chunky Monkey. Yeah, I think that's what I said. Or an American whiskey. Ooh. Sounds very fine, Dr. Impossible. Cora says, okay, I got some Lay's Max Strong crisps that were supposed to be flaming hot. Spoiler alert, they weren't spicy or hot or all. I think Lay's are Walker's crisps, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've seen them in like some of the Eastern European shops here. Andy Like Stuff says, biopics of Harrison Ford starts with George Lucas and Brian De Palma walking through the door Harrison is doing Carpenter. Cora says, why am I reading bitching about Kubrick's movies? Alexander Wayne says, start with 36 Chamber of Shaolin. It stars Gordon Liu from Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Awesome. Cora says, how far behind are they with the comments? I haven't got a clue. Hopefully not too far, I don't think. Dr. Impossible says, because I like being a bitch about Kubrick. Seth says, not too far, slowly catching up. Edward says, what's your thoughts on Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom? That's the one with Idris Elba, isn't it?
I've not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. It's been on TV. Wanted to see it, but I haven't got around to it. No, not with you, Mike, either?
No, I'm not seeing it.
Well, wasn't like Prince William and Kate Middleton, weren't they at the premiere that when they found out Mandela had died?
I think so, yeah.
They went to watch it and then they actually got told he passed away, I think.
I can remember clearly when he passed away because Mrs. Brown's voice was on and they said, hey, sorry to interrupt this program. Important news story. And there was like, Nelson Mandela died. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was just like, Rogue Review says Kubrick is my favorite director of all time, and I love 2001. definitely do need to check out some more of his films. DVD from Film Bloke says same here. Cora says thanks for helping me to restore my trust in humanity. Rogue reviews. Rogue's got a good line. You don't watch 2001, you experience 2001.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is a very good tagline. Thanks, Surf. Just noticed. Cora agrees with Rogue. Dr. Impossible says, so Cora, what's the fascination with Kubrick as a director? Just got to put some into timeout, though it doesn't seem to want to put them in timeout for some reason. Cora says, no fascination. John Rowland did Fascination. Or Gene Rowland. Rogue says, but 2010 is a shit sequel. Haven't seen that one.
No, I'm not
You
seeing
guys
it.
seen it?
Yeah, it's very forgettable.
Carl says, it's different, but I wouldn't call it shit unless you're 16. Edward says, what's your thoughts on Silver Linings Playbook? That's the one with Bradley Cooper and
Good
Jennifer
film.
Lawrence. I didn't mind it. It was all right. Seen it on TV. Have you seen it, Mike?
I don't think I have. Is Chris Tucker in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good film. Never seen 2010, but I've heard it's good, says DVD and Film Bulk. Probably not as good as 2001. Coral says to Edward, did you like it? Dr. Impossible says, Kubrick's too cold for me, but I would like to see Dirty Dancing directed by Kubrick. You can imagine the music, Richard Strauss 80s style. Now I have the time. Dirty Dancing directed by Kubrick. We could also have had Flashdance directed by Kubrick as well, for good measure. DVD from Funblock says, might get it in the next premium sale. Sounds good. Coral says, that would have been great. DVD from Funblock says, the new Matilda will only be worth it if there's a scene where Miss Trunchbull throwing a policeman into a police car which explodes. I don't think I've seen Matilda in full. Ian Hill says, I do totally disagree about Hereditary and Midsommar. I love them. Each time I watch them, I find so many things in them. They do divide opinions, but maybe I'm just a bit daft, but I love them. No problems in that, mate. I'm glad you enjoy them. They definitely do split people. I've watched the pair of them, and I think they're fine, but I definitely do want to rewatch them both. And Midsommar, I only watched the shorter cut. I know there's an extended cut, so I'll have to give that one a watch, as I've heard that's a bit more into it. But Andy, what do you think of both the films?
I like them. I like them both. Hereditary freaked me out. Like, that's a movie I go back to a hell of a lot, because I was creeped out by that movie. But I actually quite like Midsommar as well. I didn't mind it. I think there's a lot going on the undercurrent of that movie. But yeah, I thought they were both fine. Had a good time with them.
Yep. And what about you, Mike?
I really like both of them. I love them even. I think Midsommar is probably my favorite. I think both of them are very scary movies, but in a different kind of way. Like the sort of the themes. I think like Hereditary, it's like, I don't know. It's the way like the family act and how they deal with grief. It's just very real life themes in it that I think are quite scary, not in like a conventional scary type of way, but just the movie gets under your skin, and I think Midsommar is the same.
Yeah, I must admit, Toni Collette was fantastic in Hereditary.
Yeah, she's really like, the way she acts in it is really scary. Like towards the latter half of the movie.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. Her performance is very unsettling, shall I say?
Yeah.
Doctor Impossible says mine's best film, Time After Time. Ooh. I'll have to give it a go. Hopefully they've got it in my local H&V. Pardon. DVD Even Film Bloke says, I had it on a tape with A Simple Wish, but it went mouldy, so binned it. This was years before I ever considered cleaning tapes. Comments gone a bit weird. Carl's asked Soph if she's seen anything interesting lately. DVD Even Film Bloke says Doctor Impossible. Oh yeah, Time After Time is great. Such a fun film. I didn't even think it got a DVD release in this country. I think it was just exclusive to the premium, wasn't it? First time on Blu-ray?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Soph saying, thank you, Andy. You're a legend.
Oh, thanks, Soph.
Meant to say, are a legend. Doctor Impossible says, nope, until the HMV premium release on Blu, you couldn't get it on DVD, but had to import the DVD on R1 back in the early 2000s. So said Takara should watch a film with Jason called Benny Loves You. That was great.
Not heard of that one.
Yeah, it's like a weird little dog doll. It's like red and it's pretty good. Edward says, what's the best big movie you looking forward to seeing? What this year? For the rest of the year, I'm going to say Avatar 2. I'm just intrigued by that one. I just hope it lives up to the hype. I know I've been moaning about it and all that, but it's a long time coming, and I hope they do it justice. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, Avatar 2 and probably Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, that's a good pick as well. Hopefully that'll be a bit of a better Marvel film.
Yeah, let's hope so.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, probably Avatar 2, and I know this is a bit later, but probably the next Mission Impossible film.
Oh, yeah, definitely so. I think that's coming out next summer, isn't it? And then the next part's coming the summer after.
Yeah.
Ooh, can't wait. Cora says, a horror film, am I right? Definitely so. DVD from Bloke says, yeah, it was released on VHS, however, UK VHS is impossible to find. Alexander Wayne says, In the Deep with the late Paul Walker. Seth says, horror comedy. Rogue says, I started writing a screenplay for a film about a siege of Leningrad. The film would be a complete bloodbath showing the brutality of Nazis' invasion of the USSR. Edward says, I saw Fisherman's Friends 2, 1 and all the other day, and I got to say, it's not as good as the original Fisherman's Friends movies. Yeah. I think the first one's pretty good. I haven't seen it.
Not seen the second one yet.
No. I remember when the first one came out, and I thought it was all about the story of how they made the cough sweets. DVD before bloke says, well, I can't find a UK DVD of Time After Time at first. I thought Running on Empty wasn't released on DVD in the UK, but it was way back in 2005, but it's long out of print.
Yeah.
But we do have a H&V premium Blu-ray to make up for it, and it's a nice edition.
Yeah.
Carl says, seems like a fun movie. Might try and watch it next month, Halloween. Sounds good. Doctor Impossible says 2001 was a technical achievement for sure, and using Strauss was a masterstroke. But Kubrick is a take it or leave it with me. Might take a psychedelic drug when watching 2001. You'll be on the moon.
I mean, I don't need drugs. I'm on the moon every time I watch that movie.
Rogue says Lay's own Walkers, they just didn't change the name because the brand Walkers was too recognisable in the UK market, so they only changed the logo. Andy Like Stuff says, I've noticed Sky TV channel on YouTube has the first episode of House of Dragons. I've seen the first 3 episodes. Great stuff so far. Definitely worth watching. Yeah, I heard they dropped it on YouTube when Rings of Power come out, which obviously was a nice little way to try and drum up things. Haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen Game of Thrones in general, but it does look good. Have you guys seen House of Dragons yet?
No, not watched it yet.
Carl says no, it's Gene Rowland. Is it Gene Rowland? Am I pronouncing it right now? Rogue says the same will happen when the Queen dies, except there will be no comedies until the funeral. Okay. The Grim Yeeper says all I remember was 2010 was the dolphin in the living room. Okay.
Not seen it.
Dolphin. I'm intrigued. Edward says he loves it. That's good. Carl says, Mike, what was the best movie you saw this past week and why?
I watched one today actually called My Sassy Girl. It's like a Korean movie. Really liked it. Really enjoyed it. It's about this guy who meets this girl and he falls in love with her, but she's kind of got like a lot of personal problems and she's kind of like abusive to him, like physically and mentally, but he kind of just sees past it because he just falls in love with her and yeah, it kind of just goes from there. And I really enjoyed it. It's a really heartfelt movie, and yeah, I'd recommend.
That sounds good. Coral says to Edward, nice. So it's an open air cinema event a few years ago and really enjoyed it too. Also, great atmosphere. Meant saw it. Dr. Impossible says, Andy, have you ever seen Dazed and Confused? Thoughts if you have?
Yeah, it's another one of those movies that I watched and didn't like the first time, but on rewatch, I thought it was a cracking film. Really enjoyed it.
Is that the one with Mila Djokovic in?
Yes, yeah. Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck.
Oh, wow, sounds quite good.
That's got a great soundtrack as well, that movie.
I like the spiritual sequel as well.
Everybody Wants Some.
Everybody Want, yeah. I kind of like that movie as well.
Oh, have to keep an eye out for that one. Sounds good. Cora says, oh, Alan is gone. But he will be back on his stream on his channel tomorrow night at 7:30 if you want to go and say hello to him. Edward says, what's your thoughts on Now You've Seen Me movies? Oh, yes, the one with Michael Caine and that. I haven't seen them.
They're okay. They're all right.
Isn't Daniel Radcliffe in the second one?
Yeah.
You seen him, Mike?
I don't think I've seen them, no.
Is it like they're like magicians trying to do a con or something?
Yeah. They play like a group of magicians called the Four Horsemen. And they're like I think like Mark Ruffalo's like the detective trying to work because they like pose as magicians but they're like bank robbers. Something like that. Mark Ruffalo's like the policeman trying to like bring them down.
Sounds quite good. Dr. Impossible says Alan had to get something to eat. Yeah. Norrin's back says, it was great to catch up with you all. Gonna dip out, take the kiddos to Spirit Halloween. Latest, gents. Thanks for watching, Norrin.
See you, Norrin.
Yeah. Which movie is that again, Carl? What? Silver Linings Playbook. Dr. Impossible says he needed some food, Carl. Not like you. I eat all the time. Are you on the Dutch spiff again, Coro? No, why? You keep repeating yourself. Because I don't answer my question. What? You don't answer my question. What? And then we've got some sex comments. Cora says, I know I look like an idiot and sound like an idiot, but don't worry, I am an idiot. Okay. What did Alan get to eat? We didn't ask him. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the True Grit remake? I enjoyed it. It was really good.
It's a good remake.
Solid film. Did you enjoy it, Mike?
I haven't seen it since it first came out, and I don't remember liking it that much, to be honest. I probably need to give it a rewatch.
I think last time I watched it was probably not long after it came out, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I know my dad preferred the original one with John Wayne, but he remembered when that came out, so that's probably why. Dr. Impossible says, Dutch long arm, Caro, nice cake. Caro says, Dr. Impossible, ha ha ha, you're such a silly person, probably really serious and lame in real life, haha, but that's okay. Ian Hill, the Ramblin' says, why is the Serbian movie getting a 4K release? If you've seen the cut version once, it's more than enough. It's a film we don't need. Wow. A 4K release of that film. Doesn't sound like a film that really needs it, but there you go.
Should put the effort into doing a 4K of maybe The Abyss or True Lies instead of that movie.
Yeah, I can think of a huge list of films that definitely could do with a 4K than the Serbian film, but there you go. It's very strange. Cora says, thanks, Mike. Sounds a wee bit too sugary sweet for me, which means I'll probably adore it. Edward says, have you seen 1883 on Paramount Plus? I haven't got Paramount Plus now.
No, I've not seen it.
And the final comment of the night is from Cora asking, Andy, what 4K player do you own?
Good question. I own an LG 4K player.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Right, we'll be finishing up in a minute, guys. So if you want to put in your final comments and questions, that'll be great. We do have Edward saying, what's your favourite Josh Brolin movie?
Avengers Infinity War and the Goonies.
Good pick. I like him in Deadpool 2, and I'm going to say Infinity War Endgame as well. Mike?
Probably No Country for Old Men.
Oh, good pick. We've got Good Night from Dr. DVD and Film Bloke. Good night, mate. His Blu-ray is an Algae player as well. Awesome. Rogue Review says True Lies and Abyss haven't had 4Ks because James Cameron won't approve them yet.
Too busy with Avatar.
He needs to get on it.
He definitely does. Rogue Review says good night. And Marvel fan says good night, guys. Right. So anyway, I'll do it for tonight. Nearly
4 hour mark again.
Yeah.
4 hour mark again. It always does this every time near the 4 hour mark. It cuts me out. But yeah, Cora's also said this has indeed nothing to do with a Serbian film being released instead. But yeah, anyway, we're at the end of the stream tonight. Thanks as always, guys, for watching. I'd like to thank Andy and Mike for joining me once again, and thank Alan Scouser for joining us. Everybody's links is in the comment section down below, so if you go and subscribe to him, if you haven't already. Pete just fucked off, classy. Yeah, every time it hits 4 hours, it just kicks me out, and then I have to come back in. David Beach says, good night, guys, take care. And Dr. Impossible says, cheers, film nerd. So, yeah, anyway, that'll do it for tonight. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you all next week. Till then, bye.
Bye.